After the divorce, my daughter and I set up a stall on the street, while my ex-wife lived a wealthy life. 4 years ago, I married my wife Xiao Feifei, my college sweetheart, a tall, elegant girl who was my faith throughout my youth. But the reality after marriage gradually disintegrated the vows of love. Suyong, you're under too much pressure now. Not only do you have to support me, but you also have to support the children. It's too hard, my wife said, and I nodded silently, motioning her to continue. Or, let's get divorced so you can feel more relaxed. After hearing this, I didn't respond immediately, but just stared at her. Xiao Feifei took out a divorce agreement from her bag and handed it to me. I sighed and took the agreement. In fact, I knew this day would come. She was my college sweetheart, and we fell in love at first sight. At that time, our passion for each other seemed to be enough to support everything. However, reality always destroys innocent fantasies. After we got married, the gap between us gradually emerged. Her family was well off, while mine was ordinary, which made us incompatible in many choices. She carried a limited edition LV bag, drove a Porsche downstairs, and asked me for a divorce. I understood that she wanted to return to a more comfortable living environment. I just smiled and said softly, I don't want anything, just leave my daughter to me. I didn't want to argue about anything. Leaving her seemed to be the best outcome. However, my daughter only wanted to live with me. The next day, we went to the Civil Affairs Bureau. She signed without hesitation. Before leaving, she asked me, do you want me to introduce you to a job? I shook my head and turned away. When I left the Civil Affairs Bureau, the sun was blinding. I looked up at the sky, but my heart was empty. I knew that I had to start over again in the days ahead. After I lost my job, I didn't have much savings and was left with almost nothing. I took my daughter Noonyo with me and decided to rent a small house near the kindergarten. The landlord was a warm-hearted lady. Although the rent was expensive, she waived the deposit, which made me feel relieved. Giving Noonyo a stable place to live was a top priority. The new house has a small yard, and I want to plant some flowers for Noonyo and make it more cozy. She's my only concern, and I hope she can be happy. When I picked up my daughter from school, Noonyo ran towards me and sweetly called out, Dad. Her smile healed all my fatigue and filled me with strength. That night, Nono and I spent the first night in our new home. Her little figure running around the room with a smile on her face made me feel that everything was worth it. At that moment, a voice suddenly sounded in my mind. Congratulations to the host. Activate the God Chef system. I was stunned for a moment. This seemed to be a joke of fate. As long as you set up a stall and sell delicious food every day, you will get rewards. The system's voice was so clear that I couldn't ignore it. I took a deep breath and decided to give it a try. The system rewarded the first dish, the God-level dry, fried beef noodles. The complete method of making it instantly emerged in my mind. From flipping the wok to the heat, everything was so clear that it seemed like I had practiced it thousands of times. With this amazing system, I decided to start a new life with Nono. She is my motivation. Early the next morning, Nono, get up quickly. The sun is shining on your butt. I shouted half-jokingly, but my daughter rolled around on the bed like a little bug and refused to get up. Dad, let me sleep a little longer, just a little while. She opened her eyes and said in a coquettish tone, still lying in bed. I looked at her soft and cute little face helplessly and finally decided to use my secret weapon, tickling the soles of her feet. Oh, it's so itchy. Dad, I'm getting up. Nonoa finally sat up, but the grievance on his face made me laugh. We have a clear division of labor. You go to school, and Dad goes out to make money. I rubbed her little head and said to her, making money? Nono instantly betsame instead. In the eyes of children, making money is synonymous with buying snacks and toys. Dad, I want to go make money with you too. She clenched her little fists and jumped off the bed excitedly. No, you have to go to school. I refused decisively, but her coquettish offensive continued from breakfast until she left the house. In the end, I could only promise to buy her favorite toy when I made money, and she finally accepted the arrangement obediently. After sending Nuonuo to school, I went straight to the electric tricycle market. To set up a stall, you first need a handy tricycle. I chose a bright red car. Although it was a bit conspicuous, the boss said, bright colors can attract people. Otherwise, no one will see it at night. I paid 3,000 yuan, converted the tricycle into a food truck, and put up an advertisement for dry fried beef noodles. I felt a little bit of a sense of accomplishment. Next, I went to the market to buy ingredients, including green bean sprouts, chives, and onions. Every ingredient had to be fresh, and the seasonings couldn't be sloppy. With the help of the God Chef system, I decided to live up to my first career and make every bowl of fried rice noodles carefully. At 3:30 in the afternoon, I returned home, pushing the modified car, feeling full of anticipation. Tonight, I will officially open the stall. When I picked up Nuonuo from school, I rode my tricycle to the kindergarten gate. When Nuonuo saw the tricycle, his eyes lit up with excitement. Wow, Dad, this new car is so cool. Use this to pick me up from school in the future. Nuonuo jumped up and down, completely forgetting the existence of those luxury cars. Along the way, she excitedly introduced my new car to other children, which immediately attracted a lot of envious glances. After dinner, I took Nono to the university town to set up a stall. This was the location recommended by the grandpa and aunt. Unfortunately, the prime location in the alley had already been occupied, so I could only set up my stall at the entrance of the alley, which was relatively deserted. After setting up the stall, I looked at Nono, who was busy. The little guy was proudly organizing the seasonings, looking like a little assistant. Dad, will we sell a lot today? She looked at me expectantly, and I was full of confidence about tonight. Don't worry, Dad will make the best fried beef noodles in the whole alley. I touched her head and responded with a smile. This scene made the surrounding stall owners extremely envious. Such a lovely daughter, and so sensible. How can she be like that little ancestor of my family? An uncle couldn't help but mutter, his tone full of sourness. Others also expressed their feelings. Although they didn't know how good I was at making fried noodles, just having a daughter like this was already half the battle. Hey, this young man looks so gentle and polite. He doesn't look like someone who works in this field. Is he doing this part-time? Someone stared at me and guessed curiously. Everyone looked at each other, obviously confused. I look like an intellectual. Why would I bring my child to set up a street stall? However, some inspirational street stall content on short video platforms has become very popular recently, and they have also seen a lot of similar news. Finally, everything was ready. It was exactly 5:45, the best time to set up the stall. I took a deep breath and adjusted my mindset. The alley gradually became lively as college students finished their classes and workers went off work. At this moment, the air was already filled with the aroma of food. The stall owners next to mine had already opened their shops. Some were busy making fried rice, some were frying skewers. Customers came in an endless stream, and the atmosphere was very lively. Nuonuo looked around with her big black eyes wide open, her face full of curiosity. It was the first time for her to see such a lively scene. Just then, an old man slowly walked to my stall, looked at me kindly, and asked with a smile, "Young man, is this your first time selling food?" I nodded, and the old man patted my shoulder and said, "You need to improve your voice and shout a few words to attract customers. Don't be shy." Nuonuo heard it and rushed to say, "Grandpa, my dad's fried beef noodles are delicious. Do you want to try it?" The old man was amused by Nuonuo's naivety and agreed with a smile. "Then I'll try a bowl to see how good your cooking skills are, young man." I put on my apron and heated up the pan. As I picked up the spatula, my movements became smooth and skillful, as if all my years of experience had come to me. The beef was poured into the pot, and it sizzled. I carefully marinated these slices of meat, which were tender and tasty. The aroma made the old man swallow his saliva. Next is the eggs. As soon as the hot oil is added, the egg liquid quickly blooms into golden flowers. After stir-frying for a few times, I add the rice noodles and vegetables into the pot. The spatula flipped the pot quickly. The vermicelli and ingredients leaped in the pot, and the fragrance instantly filled the air, attracting the attention of the stall owners and customers nearby. Finally, I served a plate of delicious dry-fried beef noodles. The golden eggs, chopped green onions, and tender beef were so appetizing just by looking at them. "Grandpa, your beef noodles are ready." I handed the plate to him. The old man immediately picked up a piece with chopsticks. His eyes lit up, and then he took a few big bites. "Oh, this beef is so tender," the old man exclaimed as he chewed. "Young man, this is a very good cooking skill." I smiled and said, "Eat more and savor it slowly." Nuonuo, who was standing next to me, looked at me eagerly, swallowed his saliva, and muttered softly, "Dad, I want to eat too." I touched her little head and coaxed her. "Dad will make you another bowl later. It will definitely taste better." At the same time, the other people watching had already been attracted by the aroma, and someone couldn't help but ask, "Boss, how much is this fried beef noodles?" 12 yuan per portion. I smiled slightly, and my hands started to get busy again. The spatula flew, and the aroma of hot oil filled the air again. I can feel that although the business started slowly on the first day, with this pot of delicious beef noodles, the following nights will definitely become more and more lively. Successfully sell a serving of dry fried beef noodles and get 1 point. A reminder sounded in my mind, and when the points accumulated reached 100 points, I could get a random reward. I quickly fried another pot of dry fried beef noodles. In addition to giving some for the male college student in front of me, I added some more noodles and side dishes and gave one portion to Noah. Nuonuo held the beef noodles in his little hands and couldn't wait to eat them, shouting, "Dad, this fried noodles is so delicious. This is the best one Nuonuo has ever eaten." The little guy was eating happily, and I felt satisfied. After the college student took a bite, his eyes widened, and he said, "This beef noodles is so delicious." He was showing off crazily while eating. The classmate next to him was already drooling over the delicious smell and finally couldn't help but said, "Boss, I want one too." I smiled and started to cook the third pot of beef noodles today. For students, a portion of 12 yuan is not only delicious, but more importantly, it can fill you up. "Here, your fried beef noodles are ready." I handed him the plate and looked at the payment notification on my phone, which showed that I had added a few more points. At this moment, the old man who had eaten the beef noodles first suddenly touched his pocket and said to me awkwardly, "Young man, I forgot to bring money." I waved my hands and said with a smile, "It's okay. Let me treat you to this." But the old man got anxious and insisted on coming back tomorrow to pay back the money and buy another bowl. I nodded in agreement, and the old man left. The male college student who had just bought the beef noodles trotted all the way to the female dormitory building, muttering that he wanted to give a taste to the goddess. After that, my stall became much quieter. The entrance of the alley was really too remote, and most people were too lazy to go back. There was already a long queue at the stall opposite with the sign, "Chow Noodle King," and the contrast in the flow of people was particularly obvious, but I was not in a hurry. Not long after, several girls came to my stall together, and one of them, a girl with a ponytail, wearing a white t-shirt and a pleated skirt, stood out. "Boss, is this a stall that only sells fried beef noodles?" She spoke in a clear voice, staring at me with her big eyes. "Yes, we only sell fried beef noodles here." I nodded and glanced at them, thinking that they should be girls in the same dormitory. "Did you cook the beef noodles that Zhang Wei brought?" she asked again. I was stunned. "Zhang Wei? Was that the boy who bought beef noodles just now? Isn't that Zhang Wei your boyfriend?" I asked casually, and she immediately denied it. "Boyfriend? We're just classmates." Before I could think about it, her roommate behind her started complaining. "Yin Yin, why don't we go to Chow Noodle King? There are more people there, and the food must be tastier." Noah suddenly poked his head out from behind me and said angrily, "The beef noodles made by my dad are not bad. They are the best in the world." Nua's cute look instantly captured their hearts. "Wow, this little girl is so cute. Boss, is this child your daughter?" "Yes, this is my daughter." I touched Nua's little head and then started to fry 3 servings of beef noodles for them. They watched me stir-fry the noodles with amazement in their eyes. "Your technique is so skillful, just like the chefs on TV." Soon, the beef noodles came out of the pot, and the aroma filled the air. Several girls took several breaths, their eyes full of anticipation. "It smells so good." They took the beef noodles, paid the bill, and left in a hurry. Only Yin Yin was left standing in front of the stall, not moving. "Why don't you leave?" I asked. She scratched her head a little embarrassedly. "I wasn't full just now. I want another bowl." I smiled and started to fry another portion for her, while Nono grabbed my apron tightly with her little hands, as if she was a little hostile to her. Yin Yin squatted down and smiled at Nuo. "Don't worry. I'm really here to eat beef noodles, not to steal your father." When Nuo saw that she had paid and that I was concentrating on cooking, he relaxed and whispered, "Okay, let Dad make another bowl." Nuo stared at the girl in front of him and was full of vigilance. Is she really here to eat Daddy-S beef noodles? Is she here to steal Daddy-S? Seeing this, Yin Yin smiled and shook her phone. "Don't worry, sister just wants to eat beef noodles. She's not a bad person." Nuo was relieved. Passers-by whispered, "Isn't that Lin Xiyin, the campus beauty of Jiangning University? I heard her father is the boss of the Lin group." I quickly swung the spatula and stir-fried the beef noodles in the pot. The aroma from the pot spread all over the place and went straight into the crowd. I was a little excited because this was the first time for me to see such a scene. "Dad, there are so many customers. Let me help you." Nuo held up the QR code and shouted in a baby voice. I looked at her chubby little face and couldn't help but smile. A group of people nearby started to make a noise. Wow, the school beauty Lin Xian is buying fried beef noodles here. My heart skipped a beat, and I looked up. Sure enough, the legendary school beauty was right in front of my stall. She stood there. Her gentle smile attracted a lot of attention. I suddenly felt a little uncomfortable, but I didn't stop my hands and continued to stir-fry the beef noodles skillfully. The aroma became stronger, and some people in the crowd began to exclaim, "What a nice smell! This is the most delicious beef noodle I have ever smelled." The corners of my mouth curled up slightly. It seemed that my cooking skills were finally recognized. Nua began to greet the customers in a baby voice. "Everyone line up. Dad's beef noodles are the most delicious, the best in the world." The little guy looked like a little adult, which attracted bursts of laughter. School beauty Lin Xian smiled and praised Nuonuo. "You are so cute, I really want a sister like you." Nuonuo wrinkled her nose and said seriously, "Nanuo just wants to be Daddy's daughter." I almost laughed out loud. This girl really protected me. Her serious look almost made everyone around her melt. Even Lin Xian was amused by her and laughed so hard. At this moment, I was completely in the mood, and every time I flipped the pan, I received exclamations. This boss's skill in frying beef noodles is amazing. The discussion among the crowd made me more confident. I want the same fried beef noodles that school beauty Lin Xian bought. More and more people flocked to my stall, and the originally deserted stall was suddenly crowded with people. Nuonuo was busy and happy. While packing the beef noodles with her little hands, she asked, "Big brother, have you paid?" She carefully checked the payment record before handing over the beef noodles. She was so cute. A student nearby sighed. "If my sister is half as cute as her, I would wake up laughing in my dreams. Unfortunately, my sister makes me want to throw her into the trash can every day." More and more people gathered around, and after eating my fried beef noodles, many of them couldn't help but close their eyes and exclaimed, "It's so delicious. This beef noodles can simply send me to heaven." I looked at their satisfied expressions, and a surge of pride welled up in my heart. My craftsmanship was finally recognized, and all this seemed to be the good luck brought by Nuonuo and Lin Xian. Nuonuo was shouting in a baby voice in front of the stall, "Line up, Dad's fried beef noodles are the best." I couldn't help but smile as I watched the little guy busy and happy. The aroma spread, but the line got longer and longer. Although everyone wanted to have a taste, they still waited patiently. In order to ensure the quality of the fried beef noodles, I only made 3 portions per pot. The lively atmosphere in front of the team filled me with energy, and I dared not slack off. The entrance of the alley was full of people, and there were at least 50 people queuing in front of my stall. In contrast, the stall of the Chow Noodle King was empty. Master Wang looked at his stall and couldn't help but force a smile and said, "Come and try the fried noodles. The taste is absolutely as good as any." But his voice fell on deaf ears. The other snack vendors were happy. The students in line ordered lemon tea and Odin, and the alley was bustling with activity. I didn't expect so many people would buy fried beef noodles. I thought to myself, but my hands did not stop moving, and the aroma from the pot became stronger and stronger. The line grew longer and longer, even stretching out the alley. I stir-fried the noodles faster, but still kept each pot to perfection. Nuonuo's little hands quickly packed the fried beef noodles. Every time she handed out a portion, she would remind the customer in a baby voice, "Have you scanned the code?" Whenever I hear the notification sound of 12 yuan has been deposited to my account, I feel relieved. It looks like I will make a lot of money on this day. Many students were discussing heatedly in the team, saying that fried beef noodles are not only delicious, but also affordable. Who can refuse such a delicacy? "Dad, I'm not tired." Nuanua had a proud smile on his little face. "Look, everyone likes the fried beef noodles you made." Her excited expression made me laugh. I touched her head and reminded her, "Rest when you are tired. Don't work too hard." As time went by, many workers joined the queue after get-off work. They smelled the aroma and chose to queue up without hesitation. In comparison, the situation at the Chow Noodle King was even worse. Even though he greeted regular customers with a smile on his face, it was useless because everyone only recognized my stall. "This fried beef noodles is so delicious." Some people started eating right next to the stall, and every bite was filled with a happy satisfaction. This kind of praise makes me more focused on the work at hand. Every flip in the pot is like a tacit understanding between me and this skill. Over there, the girl selling handmade lemon tea took the opportunity to get closer to my stall, and with the help of the lively atmosphere, she sold a lot of drinks. Seeing her busy figure, I was deeply moved. Life is not easy, but everyone is working hard to fight for a better tomorrow. At 9 o'clock in the evening, the lights were on in Shanghai, and the streets were busy. After I finished cooking the last pot of fried beef noodles, I found that all the ingredients were used up, and I was ready to close the stall and go home. Boss, are they really sold out? The customer at the end of the line asked me, with a disappointed look on his face. I could only point to the empty basket of ingredients and said with a helpless smile, "It's really sold out. Come earlier tomorrow." Everyone in the line showed disappointed expressions, and some were still staring at the last pot of fried beef noodles that was bought by others, and they felt even more itchy when they smelled the aroma. Master Wong from the Chow Noodle King opposite took the opportunity to shout loudly, "Chow beef noodles. Authentic Chow beef noodles." Unfortunately, everyone just took a look, lowered their heads, sighed, and left. Today is my first time setting up a stall. I didn't expect so many people would like it. While apologizing to the remaining customers, I started to pack up the stall, and a sense of accomplishment surged in my heart. Nuonyuo yawned and leaned against my arm, her little face full of fatigue. "Dad, let's go home," she said in a baby voice, her eyelids almost unable to open. I touched Nunua's little head and agreed with heartache. "Okay, let's go home." The little guy was exhausted tonight, so I decided not to bring her out to suffer tomorrow. Just then a timid voice came over. I'll treat you to lemonade." I turned around and saw that it was the female student who had just been selling lemon tea at the stall. She carefully handed me 2 cups of lemon tea, her cheeks slightly flushed. I was stunned for a moment. Then I understood what she meant. She wanted to use this little token of her appreciation for me letting her have an abortion. "Thank you." I took the lemon tea with a smile. Although I didn't like drinking such sour things, I couldn't let her down. After all, she was also a student and her life was not easy. The female student seemed relieved, but her ears were still red. I looked at her frail figure and felt touched. She must be a hardworking person. After she packed up her stall, she walked a few steps and turned back to ask me, "My name is Yue. Will you come to set up the stall tomorrow? Will you come to set up the stall tomorrow?" Her voice was timid, but full of expectation. "Yes, I will." I nodded with a smile on my face. Although I was very busy and flustered when I first started setting up a stall, this business really made me very satisfied. "That's great. I also want to eat your fried beef noodles tomorrow." There was a gleam in her eyes, as if she had finally made up her mind. "You're welcome anytime." I smiled and watched her leave, thinking that for a student like her, a serving of beef noodles should be enough to fill her up. After packing up the stall, I pushed the food cart and held Nuonyuo's hand on the way home. Nuonyuo leaned on me tiredly and whispered, "Dad, Nuonyuo is so sleepy." I looked down at her cute appearance and couldn't help but smile. "You don't have to go out with your dad tomorrow. Just have a good rest at home." Nuonyuo nodded and rubbed my arm like a kitten. No. Stay at home tomorrow, watch cartoons, and go to bed when you are tired." I rode the electric tricycle and looked at my daughter with half-open and half-closed eyes. She nodded her little head, but forced herself to say in a baby voice, "No, Nuonyuo still has to help Daddy tomorrow, not at all." She yawned loudly. I looked at Nuonyuo, who was lying in my arms. Her long eyelashes were like 2 small brushes. I felt helpless and distressed. It seemed that I had to close the stall early tomorrow. The tricycle was driving on the busy street. The lights in the Magic City were bright at night. The breeze blew on Nono's little face. She snuggled up to me, quiet and warm. When I got home, I parked the tricycle in the yard and carried Nuonyuo into the house. As soon as I turned on the light, the little guy wrinkled his eyes, rubbed them, and then asked, "Dad, are you home?" "We're home." I smiled and carried her to the chair, squatted down to take off her shoes, and said, "Brush your teeth and wash your face later, and go to bed early today." "What about the bedtime story? What happened to Rock, the big bad wolf?" she asked me with her eyes wide open, as if she was eager to hear it. Okay, I'll tell you later." I agreed with a doting smile. After listening to me, the little guy really went to wash up obediently without making any noise. After washing, I carried her to the pink princess bed. As soon as I covered her with the quilt, she fell asleep with a smile on her face, as if she had dreamed of something beautiful. I touched her chubby little face, gently closed the door, and then walked to the yard to start cleaning the dining cart used today. Even though I was tired, I still wanted to clean the cart thoroughly. A clean dining car can make diners feel at ease. I rinsed the oil stains while thinking about today's busyness. 20 minutes later, the dining car was washed and shiny. Although the house is old, it is really convenient to have a yard. I am lucky that the landlady is willing to rent it to me. Otherwise, where can I find such a cheap place? After I finished packing, I lay on the bed and rubbed my sore arms, feeling very satisfied. I sold out all the dry, fried beef noodles the first time I set up the stall. The profit was about 1,800 yuan, which gave me confidence in the future. Although it was tiring, it was all worth it, and I felt more fulfilled than when I was a white-collar worker. Thinking of this, a system prompt suddenly popped up in my mind. 260 points. According to the system rules, a random draw can be conducted for every 100 points. Come on, draw the lottery, I said silently in my mind, and soon the system popped up the lottery results. 2 rewards: physical strength max and secret sauce pork buns. Seeing the physical strength max, I couldn't help but sigh. This is really the best thing for a chef, full of energy, allowing me to do everything with ease. As for the secret sauce pork buns, a whole set of production methods has already come to my mind. I instantly feel that this can definitely become the second signature delicacy. I couldn't help swallowing my saliva. My stamina was at max, which made me feel less tired. If I wasn't afraid of waking up Noonyuo, I would have tried making braised pork buns. It seems I can only wait until tomorrow. I murmured, closed my eyes, and fell asleep. The next morning I got up early, and when I went out, I found that it was just past 4 o'clock. Although setting up a stall business may seem simple, it actually requires a lot of preparation in advance. Especially today, I have to try the secret sauce pork buns, so I have to buy all the ingredients. I rode the electric tricycle and headed straight to the vegetable market. The tricycle is really a magical tool. It is convenient for transporting goods and parking, and the worry of rising oil prices has nothing to do with me. Good morning, Xiao Su, you are so diligent? The neighbor greeted me with a smile. I responded cheerfully. After all, these people are very caring to me. Go to the vegetable market behind Liangmao Street. The vegetables are cheap and fresh. The old man pointed the way enthusiastically. I thanked him and rode my bike straight to my destination. When I arrived at the market, I went to a noodle shop and bought 150 kilograms of rice noodles. The boss smiled and joked. Young man, you sold out all the 50 kilograms yesterday? Yeah, I didn't expect business to be so good. I have to prepare more today. I chatted with the boss, scanned the code to pay, and added his WeChat by the way. Next, I bought a bunch of ingredients including pork, eggs, onions, ginger, etc. In order to make the secret sauce pork buns, I also bought tools such as a steamer and a rolling pin, spending nearly 1,000 yuan. In total, hundreds of dollars were gone. To be honest, I still feel a little sad. After all, the profit from selling dry, fried beef noodles at the stall last night was only 1,800. This means that all the money earned was invested again. At around 5 in the morning, I finally came back from the vegetable market, and my electric tricycle was piled with all kinds of food. After sorting everything out, I started to get busy, soaking what needed to be soaked in water and washing what needed to be washed. Now it's time to try making this secret meat buns. I looked up at the time and couldn't help feeling a little excited. Today was a special beginning. If you want to make the braised pork buns delicious, the meat filling and the dough are the key. For the meat filling, I chose the best 60% fat, 40% lean pork, which is fat but not greasy, and the taste is excellent. I heated the oil in the pan, and when the temperature was just right, I poured in the chopped green onion and ginger and stir-fried them. The aroma instantly filled my nose. I was very careful with every step, fearing that I would not get the heat right. Then pour the chopped mushrooms and pork filling into the pot one by one. Stir-fry until the meat color gradually changes, and the aroma fills the entire yard as the spatula stirs. Bean paste, 13 spices, light soy sauce, dark soy sauce. Add the seasonings one by one, and the order must be correct. My movements are skillful, and there is almost no pause. Finally, a pot of delicious meat filling was ready. Looking at the shiny meat filling, I couldn't help but smile with satisfaction. This is definitely top-notch. While they were busy, the little girl Nono came out rubbing her eyes and asked in a baby voice, "Dad, what is this? It smells so good." Her little face was full of curiosity. Braised pork buns. Dad made them especially for Noonyuo. I smiled and touched her head. Go wash up quickly. You'll be able to eat them soon. Noonyuo woke up instantly, his eyes sparkling. Braised pork buns? Noonyuo loves it the most. The little guy ran back to the house happily, smacking his mouth. While Noonyuo was washing up, I started to prepare the bun wrappers. When the fermented dough was taken out, the honeycomb-like structure showed that the dough was in excellent condition. Knead the dough evenly, cut it into small pieces, and then roll it into a dough that is thick in the middle and thin at the edges. This step is crucial and directly affects the taste of the braised pork buns. My hands moved very quickly, and each piece of dough I rolled out was almost the same size and evenly thick, as if it were made with a mold, which was enough to put ordinary bun makers to shame. Next, I put the braised pork filling into the dough, and according to the golden ratio provided by the system in my mind, I gently pinched and pressed it with my hands, and a perfect braised pork bun was formed. The wrapped meat dumplings were neatly stacked in the steamer for secondary fermentation. At this time, Nuonyo ran out of the house and saw the dumplings in the steamer, with anticipation on his face. "Dad, is it ready?" she asked me, tilting her head up. I smiled and pointed at the steamer. "It's almost done. Just wait a little longer, and you can eat it soon." About 20 minutes later, the lid of the steamer was opened, and the hot braised pork buns emitted a fragrant aroma. The whole yard was filled with the fragrance. I looked at the finished product, feeling full of pride. "Nuonyo, come and have breakfast." I brought the buns to the table. The little guy hurried over, picked up one, and took a bite. The expression on his face instantly became extremely happy. "So delicious," Nuonyo said as he ate, with sauce hanging from the corners of his mouth and his eyes smiling into crescents. "Dad, the braised pork buns you make are the most delicious in the world." Seeing her eating so happily, I felt satisfied. As I poured milk for her, I thought that I had learned a lot about cooking. I rode my electric three-wheel dining cart and did not choose to go home directly, but rushed to the nearby Manhwa Primary School, a large public primary school with more than 3,000 students. The school gate is bustling in the morning, with various snack vendors gathered on both sides. Every time school starts, the place is packed with people. I found a place with fewer stalls and quickly set up the stall. I checked the braised pork buns in the steamer and found that each one was plump, white, soft, and chewy. I put up a sign that read, "Secretly made pork buns, 2 for $5." I didn't put out stir-fried beef noodles. After all, eating something too greasy in the morning might not be popular. The aroma quickly attracted many parents of students to come over. One parent approached with his child, sniffed it, and said in surprise, "Boss, this bun smells so good." I greeted him with a smile. "Would you like to try it? It's fresh out of the pot." He glanced at the buns in the steamer, and just by looking at them with his naked eyes, he could tell that the buns were very filling. "Then give me 2. The other party scanned the code to pay, and I immediately put the 2 marinated meat packages into a bag and handed it to him. He took it and couldn't wait to take a bite. The first bite he took was the marinated meat filling, and the rich aroma of meat and sauce burst out in his mouth. His expression instantly lit up, and he couldn't help but exclaim, "Fuck, this is too good." After a few bites, he quickly finished the 2 buns. The little boy standing by looked at him and asked eagerly, "Dad, I want to eat too." However, the father pretended to be testing the poison seriously and said, "Let me try 2 more first. I'll give them to you after I confirm that there is no problem." After that, he scanned the code and bought 2 more. I filled it up and handed it to him, but he wolfed it down without hesitation. The child next to him couldn't help but yelled, "Dad, if you don't give me some, I'll tell Mom." After hearing the word Mom, the father calmed down, paid again, bought 2, and handed them to the child. I couldn't help laughing when I saw this scene. The little boy took the braised pork bun and took a bite carefully. An expression of happiness instantly appeared on his face. There was some soup on the corner of his mouth, and he looked very satisfied. "It's delicious," the child shouted as he ate, attracting more attention from the people around him. Soon, more parents began to gather around him and asked, "Boss, how much are these buns?" "Secretly made braised pork buns, 2 for $5." I answered, while deftly packing several buns and handing them to the new customer. The number of buns in the steamer began to decrease. "It smells so good. It must be made with good ingredients," a mother said as she paid. After she got the buns, she took a bite and immediately showed an expression of admiration. "Delicious." The parents around were talking about it. After seeing the result of the braised pork buns, they couldn't help but start queuing up. Some even yelled at the boss to give them a few more. "Boss, I want 4. I want 6, to take them home for my husband to try." Parents rushed to buy them, and in a short while, more than half of my braised pork buns had been sold. The way the children devoured the buns reminded me of Nuonyo. His greedy little expression was exactly the same as those of the children, and I felt warm in my heart. I knew early on that the aroma of my braised pork buns would be attractive, but I never expected that within just a few minutes, my stall would be crowded with people and a long queue would form. The parents and students in the queue were either attracted by the aroma of the braised pork buns or by word of mouth, and more people came after hearing the news. I took a quick look and saw that there were about 12 or 13 stalls in front of the school gate. Normally, there would be at least 4 or 5 people gathered in front of each stall, but this morning it seemed unusually deserted. The stall owners nearby might have been stunned by my fragrance and the crowd. After all, such a scene is not common. Fortunately, all my braised pork buns have been steamed in advance, so I just need to take them out, which is much more efficient than stir-frying beef noodles. However, troubles also followed. Some parents asked for 7 or 8 braised pork buns right away, causing the people behind the line to appear a little anxious. I looked at the inventory in the steamer and estimated in my mind that the braised pork buns I made today were obviously not enough to sell, so I had to limit it. Sorry, each person can only buy 2. Although the purchase limit decision disappointed the people in the front, the parents waiting in line at the back cheered. After all, everyone wanted to have a taste. As the line moved, more parents began to praise my braised pork buns, saying that they were not only filling, but also reasonably priced. Someone asked me tentatively, "Boss, will you come tomorrow? I want to bring my family to try it." Hearing these compliments, I just smiled slightly, but I thought to myself that it seemed I would have to do more tomorrow. In just half an hour, all the braised pork buns were sold out. Seeing that the steamers were empty, I started to pack up the stall, and at the same time sighed that the business was better than I thought. The parents next to me were still not satisfied and kept asking me about my secret recipe, wanted to learn from my experience. I just smiled and changed the subject. As students entered the school one after another and parents went to work, I also packed up the dining cart and prepared to go home to make up for the evening's preparations. When I rode my electric tricycle back to the yard and was about to put down the steamer and tools, I found a group of familiar uncles and aunts gathered at the door. The person leading the way was Uncle Zhang, who showed me the way in the morning. He said to me with a smile on his face, "Xiao Su, I heard that the braised pork buns you make are very delicious. We want to try them too." I helplessly spread my hands and told them that the braised pork buns were sold out. Uncle Zhang sniffed the smell in the yard and said, "But why is this fragrance still there?" I smiled and explained, "Oh, that's the dry-fried beef noodles I prepared for my daughter at noon." When he heard the words dry-fried beef noodles, Uncle Zhang's eyes lit up instantly. Since the braised pork buns are gone, I can always try fried beef noodles, right? I nodded, thinking that I had just bought enough ingredients in the morning, so I agreed to make them a try, as a way of thanking them for taking care of me. Uncle Zhang and the middle-aged women gathered in the yard with anticipation on their faces, while I quickly took the steamer out of the car and began to skillfully prepare the ingredients and seasonings for the beef noodles. While I was busy, I casually asked, "Is there anyone who is allergic to spicy food or cannot eat spicy food?" "Don't worry, Xiao Su. Add some spiciness. How can fried beef noodles be delicious without some spiciness?" Uncle Zhang responded with a big laugh, but the aunt next to him immediately interrupted him. "Don't listen to him. We can't eat such spicy food. Just keep it light." I smiled and nodded in agreement, but my hands continued to move. As the rice noodles in the pot churned, the fragrance gradually spread. Uncle Zhang and the 2 aunts began to discuss me quietly. One said that I had good skills, but the other started to make a different plan. "Xiao Su, I heard that you have a daughter who is so capable, but you are still single?" My heart skipped a beat, and I realized that they were talking about something else. Sure enough, the aunties started talking about Grandpa Zhang's granddaughter, describing her as if she were a fairy who had descended to Earth. "If you two can really be together, wouldn't that be perfect? The child will have a mother, and you can set up the stall and make money with peace of mind." The aunt smiled particularly brightly. I pretended not to hear and continued to stir-fry the beef noodles in the wok with great care. My movements were so smooth that it seemed like I was performing art. The fragrance became stronger and stronger, and Uncle Zhang's eyes were full of satisfaction. If this little Sue is my grandson-in-law, then I've really picked up a treasure. By the time the beef noodles were out of the pot and served on a plate, several uncles and aunts had already gathered around impatiently. As soon as they picked up their chopsticks, the delicious taste instantly filled the air in the entire courtyard. "Xiao Su, you can't keep your cooking skills hidden," Uncle Zhang said as he ate, his mouth full of praise for my cooking skills. I smiled helplessly, thinking to myself, don't talk about my granddaughter in a hurry. Let them eat first. I lowered my head, not daring to look up at the old lady, fearing that she would misunderstand me with my gaze. What's the point of saying 40 years younger? "Annie, please respect yourself." When I was about to pack up 3 servings of fried beef noodles, Uncle Zhang stopped me and said, Xiao Su, don't rush to pack them up. I'll eat them here. Okay, I nodded, handed him a bowl of fried beef noodles, and watched him eagerly take a big bite and put it into his mouth. The old men and women on the side stared at Uncle Zhang, as if they were waiting for him to give his opinion, but he remained silent for a long time, as if he was whetting everyone's appetite. Lao Zhang, stop pretending. How does it taste? The auntie couldn't help but urge him, and the others also gathered around eagerly. Uncle Zhang finally put down his chopsticks, with an extremely satisfied expression on his face, and slowly uttered 5 words. Fragrant, smooth, tender, soft, delicious. These 5 short words made everyone understand what he meant instantly. He even added, this is the best stir-fried beef noodles I've ever eaten. For a moment, several uncles and aunts became more excited about my beef noodles, but when they saw the only 2 bowls left, they looked at each other and hesitated. Seeing this, Uncle Zhang made the first decision and took a few pairs of chopsticks from me. Let's eat together. Xiao Su's dish is big enough, so it's okay to share it. I also quickly divided the remaining 2 bowls into 4 plates so that everyone could have a taste, and the atmosphere finally became a little more harmonious. Although I sold 2 fewer bowls, seeing how satisfied they were after eating the food gave me the greatest sense of accomplishment in cooking. Xiao Su, this beef noodle soup is so delicious. It's not greasy, and the beef is incredibly tender. The cooking technique is really top-notch. The auntie praised repeatedly. If I had met you a few years earlier, I wouldn't have broken up with that unfaithful man, an old lady sighed, making everyone laugh. Originally, they wanted to help Uncle Zhang to find a match for me, but a meal of fried beef noodles made everyone so immersed in the food that they forgot all about the matchmaker. Uncle Zhang looked at me with satisfaction, as if a mother-in-law likes her son-in-law, and he even asked about the origin of my cooking skills. There's no such thing as an expert teaching me. I just learned it online. Nuonyua loves to eat, so I thought of trying to set up a stall to earn some living expenses. I answered casually. Hearing what I said, Uncle Zhang looked incredulous. You can learn to make this level of beef noodles online? Xiao Su, you are a genius. The auntie at the side echoed. It's amazing. The beef noodles are like a work of art. If I hadn't tasted it, I would never have thought it would be so delicious. In this way, they ate and talked, and Uncle Zhang even asked me to help him find a teacher on Douyin who could teach him how to make nyoha. I could only agree perfunctorily. After they walked away, I heard several transfer notification sounds from my phone. I clicked on them and saw that they were records of Uncle Zhang and his friends secretly scanning codes to pay. I smiled helplessly, but my heart was warm. Since my divorce, I haven't felt this kind of heartfelt care for a long time. I counted the revenue this morning. Although I only sold braised pork buns and a few bowls of beef noodles, the profit has exceeded 300 yuan, far exceeding my expectations. I looked at the system points and found that I had accumulated more than 200 points. I was so excited that I directly opened 2 lotteries. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the exquisite green bean soup making skills. The system prompt sounded. Green bean soup? This drink has a good profit margin. Congratulations to the host for winning the best stall map in Magic City. The second reward from the system was even more eye-catching. It was simply a magical tool. With a thought, I opened the map in my mind, and sure enough, all the hotspots for street vendors in Shanghai were marked out, and the nearest one was within 1 kilometer. When I was selling braised pork buns this morning, I felt that they were lacking a drink to go with them. With mung bean paste and maps, this stall business will definitely be taken to the next level. I returned home, poured a glass of water, sat on a chair, and took a breath. I was busy all morning, so I should be a little tired, but I didn't feel that at all. The effect of the max physical strength value is simply amazing. I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and am still full of energy, even though I am busy until now. This makes me admire the power of the system. Thinking back to the past, I wasn't in such a good state. Now, staying up late and getting up early are no problem for me, and I even have extra energy to handle the next work. After drinking the water, I rode my electric tricycle straight to the vegetable market. The sun began to rise on the road, and the temperature slowly rose, but I didn't feel hot at all. There were obviously fewer people in the market, as the morning market had ended. I took the opportunity to go around and buy a lot of things. Stainless steel barrels, sealing machines, mung beans, pork, flour, etc. The big barrel is used to cook mung bean paste. Although the casserole tastes better, the efficiency is too low and it is not suitable for business. The sealing machine can make the mung bean paste more portable. This trip cost me several $100s. Seeing the balance of my Zafubo account drop rapidly, I felt a little painful. But as a business, investment is necessary. When I got home, I soaked the mung beans in water. These mung beans need to be soaked for 25 to 30 minutes to achieve the best effect, which is just the right time to prepare other work. While the green beans were soaking, I started to prepare the pork, seasonings, and dough fermentation. The braised pork buns sold well, and I had to prepare more in the evening. After 25 minutes, I scooped up the mung beans, washed them clean, put them into the pot and added water, and also added the tangerine peel with the fascia removed, so that the taste would be sweeter. After the mung beans boiled, I watched the whole process and stirred constantly to prevent them from sticking to the pot. When the mung beans were completely soft, I used a strainer to filter out the dregs, leaving behind a thick soup. Boiling mung bean soup is just like taking a sauna. The high fire made the whole kitchen hot and stuffy, but thinking that I would be able to make delicious mung bean soup in a while, I gritted my teeth and persevered. I put the filtered soup back into the pot, added brown sugar for seasoning, and finally 2 slices of lemon for flavor. The whole mung bean soup was finally ready. I scooped a small bowl and let it cool, then tried a sip. The sweet and refreshing taste instantly spread in my mouth. This taste is definitely better than any green bean paste sold outside. Just as I was about to take another sip, my phone watch rang. It was a video call from Nuonuo, and I quickly answered it, and that cute little face appeared on the screen. "Dad, are you secretly eating some delicious food again?" Nuonuo's soft and sticky voice came, and I couldn't help laughing. "It's mung bean soup, specially cooked for you. You can taste it when you get home from school." I raised the bowl to show her, and Nono's eyes lit up. "Dad is the best," she responded sweetly, and then asked seriously, "Did you eat well today? Did you slack off?" Nuonuo's concern warmed my heart. This girl is so young, but she is always thinking about me like a little adult. I smiled and nodded. "Of course, Nuonuo, you have to be good too." After hanging up the phone, I looked at the time. It was already past noon, and I was a little hungry. I made a plate of dry fried beef noodles, a few braised pork buns, and a bowl of green bean paste. The simple and satisfying lunch instantly replenished my energy. I thought to myself that when Nono got home from school in the afternoon, he would definitely like what I made. In the kindergarten, Yaya pointed at the spare ribs in her lunchbox and looked at my daughter Nuonuo with eagerness. "Shall we take turns eating?" she said in a baby voice, her eyes fixed on Nuonuo's fried beef noodles. Before Nuonuo could speak, other children started shouting, "Nuonuo, I want to change too. I have a big chicken leg. I have milk. Just a small sip will do. My mom bought a Barbie toy." Listening to the children talking to each other, I found it a little funny. It seems that the aroma of the fried beef noodles I made attracted all the children in the classroom. Even teacher Zhang Qian, whom Nuonuo called Teacher de Qian, couldn't help but come over and swallow her saliva. "Stop making trouble and eat your meal," Teacher Zhang Qian said helplessly, trying to maintain order. Although the children returned to their seats obediently, their eyes were still fixed on Nuonuo's lunchbox, and their mouths were almost drooling. Nuonuo, on the other hand, was not polite at all, and took a piece of fried beef noodles with chopsticks, and his mouth was full of oil. Teacher Zhang Qian couldn't help but take another look at her lunchbox, swallowed her saliva, and said with emotion, "This fried beef noodles was made by your father, right?" Nuonuo replied in a baby voice, "Yes, Dad made it." Her voice was full of pride. Teacher Zhang Qian's face looked a little unnatural, even blushing, as if she was trying to suppress some thoughts. Nuonuo suddenly looked up and said to Zhang Qian, "Teacher Dakian, do you want to have a bite? The fried beef noodles my dad makes are the best in the world." Zhang Qian was a little hesitant. "Huh? This isn't good." Although she said that, she couldn't help but stare at the bowl of fried beef noodles. Nuonuo was very enthusiastic and pushed the lunchbox directly in front of her. "It's okay. Dad made so much. I'll share some with you." Zhang Qian finally couldn't resist the temptation of the aroma and picked up the chopsticks to take a bite. I imagine her expression when she tasted the fried beef noodles. Sure enough, she covered her face, closed her eyes slightly, and savored the taste. "It's so delicious." Her voice became a little tender. "I know my cooking skills are just okay, but it gives me a sense of accomplishment to make her look like that." Magic City, Mingji Hotel. At this moment, I am sitting in the office, rubbing my temples. Since divorcing Qiao Feifei, she has returned to the family hotel to start working, while I have been leading another busy life. After Qiao Feifei took over Mingji Hotel, she became the person in charge, but problems came to her one after another. For example, today something went wrong in the kitchen again. Mr. Liu from VIP room 108 complained that today's pork belly and white jade beans was ridiculously unpalatable. He also said it was the most unpalatable thing he had ever eaten in Shanghai. Most of these problems occurred in the kitchen, which she could not easily deal with. The old hotel employees were secretly slacking off and even united against her, the new general manager. I know Xiao Feifei has a strong personality, and she will not give in easily. Even after the divorce, she wants to prove in her own way that she can manage the hotel well. But the reality is cruel. Within a few days, she was already exhausted by all kinds of complaints. She even began to miss the days when I would massage her temples to relieve her emotions. When I was thinking about these things, I was not in the mood to interfere in her life. Now that we are divorced, I have my own things to do. While Xiao Feifei was still racking her brains for a solution, I had already cooked the mung bean paste and put it in the refrigerator. I bought 50 kilograms of mung beans this morning and made them all into mung bean smoothie. After counting, I found that there were more than 600 cups. The net profit should be more than 1,000 yuan. It was very hot at noon, so I lay on a lounge chair in the yard and rested for half an hour. After I recovered my strength, I thought that since I was free anyway, I might as well set up a stall in the pedestrian street. Opening the Magic City stall map in my mind, the system recommended a pedestrian street 3 kilometers away, which had the largest flow of people at that time, with more than 3,000 people. 3,000 people? It's not as lively as during holidays, but it's enough. I feel that this batch of mung bean paste should sell well. When I arrived at Nanjing Road Pedestrian Street, I rented a stall at the intersection. The stall fee was 50 yuan, which was acceptable. If you go further into the pedestrian street, the stall fee will be much more expensive. Several vendors were busy nearby. One was selling starch sausage, one was selling rigiamo, and there was also a stall that claimed to be selling authentic Changsha stinky tofu. Seeing that I was neat and tidy, they thought I was some rich young man who came out to experience life, and asked me curiously what I was selling at the stall. Mung bean smoothie. I pointed to the insulated box and answered casually. Mung bean paste? Young man, is mung bean paste selling well? At this time in the afternoon, everyone who wants to drink cold drinks has gone to the milk tea shop, right? The uncle next to me frowned and advised me. I smiled and didn't explain much. Actually, I also sell dry fried beef noodles. As soon as I said this, they looked at me with more complicated expressions. Selling fried beef noodles on the pedestrian street? The Rigiamo uncle couldn't help shaking his head and said earnestly, "Brother, listen to me, there is no future in selling this. It's better to learn how to make fried skewers, which has higher profits." I appreciated their kindness, but I knew what was going on. I took a cup of green bean shaved ice from the insulated box and gave it to them to try. Unfortunately, they shook their heads and said they were not used to drinking this kind of thing. The other woman thought about it and realized that it would take at least 10 minutes to walk to the subway station. If you buy a cup of mung bean smoothie, you can drink it while walking and finish it by the time you reach the subway station. Scan the code? I pointed to the location of the QR code. After the woman scanned the code and paid, I took out a cup of iced mung bean smoothie from the foam box and handed it to her. "Here's the straw. Take it yourself," I said casually. She picked up the straw and inserted it into the cup. After taking a sip, her eyes lit up immediately. "It's delicious. It's so delicious," she said in surprise. After taking a few sips, her face was full of satisfaction, and even the sweat from before disappeared. "Only 3 yuan a cup? It's much cheaper than milk tea." After finishing this cup, "I want another one," she said happily, and her voice attracted passing tourists. "Green bean smoothie? I want one too," a tourist asked curiously, and the others nodded. I smiled and took out a few more cups from the box and handed them to them. After they took a sip of the mung bean shaved ice, their eyes lit up instantly, and they began to praise it. "Wow, this is so delicious. It's much better than milk tea." Soon my stall was crowded with people, and more people were drinking green bean shaved ice and asking, "Boss, do you have anything else?" "We have fried beef noodles," I answered. Unexpectedly, as soon as I said this, the onlookers started to say, "Then I want a plate of fried beef noodles with extra spiciness." I smiled and quickly heated the oil in a pan. After the beef and rice noodles were put into the pan, the aroma spread instantly, and everyone around was attracted. "This fried beef noodles is so delicious. Come on, tell me how much it is. I'll buy it first." Someone couldn't help but urge them, and I gave them several portions in order. The middle-aged man who was a step behind in pain could only watch others eat with envy. He couldn't help but ask, "You can't finish it? Let me help you eat." "You wish. I won't give it to you even if you fill me to death." The other party was guarding the fried beef noodles and refused to let go. The middle-aged man could only helplessly wait for the next pot. When he finally took a bite, he immediately exclaimed, "It's so delicious. This is simply the most delicious thing in the world." His wolfing down of the food attracted more tourists. Soon, more people gathered around the stall, smelling the aroma, and a long line formed in front of the stall. The starch sausage stall owner next to me saw my booming business and couldn't help but mutter, "It's really weird. Why is the food this guy sells so delicious?" Chapter 33. It turns out that this is the perfect feng shui location for setting up a stall. Seeing the aunties and uncles selling starch sausages and stinky tofu, they couldn't wait any longer and ran over to queue up. Just as they reached the end of the team, a familiar figure appeared in front of them. The umbrella has been put away. The fashion is in fashion. Isn't this the woman who ate mung bean shaved ice and fried beef noodles here before? Beauty. Haven't you already eaten? Why are you queuing again? I just finished eating and walked a few steps, and I found that I was still very hungry. But this is such a delicious fried beef noodles. If I don't eat enough today, where can I eat in the future? After hearing the woman's answer, the uncle and the aunt looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with extreme doubt. What kind of fried beef noodles is so attractive? This beauty had already left after eating. The result is back again. This is too outrageous. There must be something special mixed in Su Yang's fried beef noodles. But from what I saw just now about his cooking method, the ingredients he added were all homely ingredients. How strange. While the two were confused, Su Yang had already started to spin like a top and couldn't stop at all. From this pedestrian street, more and more people heard or saw Su Yang's stall. The best fried beef noodles in the whole Magic City. Who wouldn't want to try it after hearing this? Su Yang almost never stopped, frying one pot after another. But there was already a long queue of customers in front of him. In particular, their eyes were filled with anxious waiting, and their gazes were fixed on the fried beef noodles in the pot, swallowing their saliva continuously. These are just the people standing in the front queue. The people queuing in the back are even worse off. Although Su Yang prepared a large umbrella, it was not enough to provide shade for the long line of customers. In other words, most of the customers are standing in the sun, but they didn't mind at all. The only thing that made them a little unbearable was those people in front of me who got fried beef noodles and ice mung bean shaved ice were so comfortable eating and drinking in front of me. Only at this time will they be completely unable to control themselves. "Boss, hurry up, everyone is waiting." Although you are already very fast. Can't you be faster? I can't wait any longer. Hearing some people's urging, some other people who really couldn't stand it would also refute on behalf of Su Yang. "Why are you rushing me? Didn't you see that the boss's hands are almost turning into phantoms when he's flipping the pan? How much faster do you want him to be?" Exactly. Do you really think you are God? Even if you are God, you can't treat the boss as a human being. Even donkeys can't be ordered around like this. Can't you just stand in line and wait? The person who had been urging just now realized that he was in the wrong after hearing this and hurriedly explained. "That's not what I meant. Look at the boss's wok. It's obviously very big. He can cook more than 3 portions at a time. Do you know how to cook? The boss only cooks 3 portions at a time to control the taste of the fried beef noodles. If you cook it in 3 portions, it won't taste right. Why? Are you teaching the boss how to stir-fry beef noodles? You're in such a hurry. Why don't you go and stir-fry it yourself?" The man who had opened his mouth to explain was instantly speechless after being confronted by others. Taste or speed? Of course it's the taste. Anyway, I've been waiting in line for such a long time, so I don't mind waiting a little longer. Besides, Su Yang's speed is actually not slow. In less than 2 minutes, you can prepare 3 servings. This speed is much faster than that of ordinary street stalls. It is really hard to imagine how many bowls of fried beef noodles one has to make and how much experience one has to have to reach this speed and keep the taste of the fried beef noodles intact. Could it be that Su Yang has been cooking beef noodles since he was in his mother's womb? As Su Yang cooked bowl after bowl of fried beef noodles, all the customers who got them were satisfied and praised it. This is definitely the best fried beef noodles they have ever eaten in their lives, especially on such a hot day, paired with iced mung bean shaved ice. It is simply a heavenly enjoyment. In just 1 hour, Su Yang didn't stop. He hardly had any rest and only took a sip of water in the middle. More than 90 servings of dry, fried beef noodles, and nearly 200 cups of mung bean shaved ice were sold. This kind of business made the stall owner next door cry with envy. Even the stall owners who originally set up stalls in the pedestrian street, after hearing about Su Yang's fried beef noodle stall, started crying to the manager. But there is no way. Su Yang has paid the money, and they are just following the rules and regulations. In the end, they could only agree that the stall owners inside could move their stalls next to Su Yang's stall. See if I can get some customers. Soon, stalls selling fruit, ice cream, milk tea, pot cakes, all kinds of stalls appeared next to Su Yang. These stalls even surrounded the queuing customers with Su Yang as the center. Handsome guy, beautiful girl, I have iced cut watermelon for sale. Strawberry ice cream, authentic Jingzhou guokue. The noisy shouting instantly turned this place, which originally had the least crowds on the pedestrian street, into the most lively place. Even the administrator in charge of managing the vendors on the pedestrian street was confused. I've been in charge of all businesses, big and small, on this street for several years, and this is the first time I have seen such a situation. The location that was originally the worst is now the one with the best business? The best location in the pedestrian street. Now, there is no business at all? Could it be that I was wrong all along? Is the location where Su Yang sets up his stall the best spot in the entire pedestrian street? Should I raise the price of my stall here in the future? As an administrator, he also had doubts in his heart. Looking from afar, with Su Yang's stall as the center, there is an endless stream of customers queuing up like a long dragon. The vendors who had just moved over continued to shout out their wares. Today is not a holiday. There is such a flow of people, and it is so concentrated. How can we not let them scream for their lives? After all, their stall fees can be based on the charging standards in the pedestrian street. It is more than 10 times more expensive than Su Yang and his team's stall fees. For now, of course, we will attract as many customers as possible. But as for the future, there are stalls set up in the damn pedestrian street. Right here. It turns out that this is the real Feng Shui treasure land for setting up stalls. Chapter 34. Experience the joy for less than $20. At around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the intersection of the pedestrian street was still crowded with people. In fact, the number of people queuing not only did not decrease, but increased a lot. The long queue was over 60 meters long, which made the tourists from other places who came to visit confused. What on earth could make these people willingly queue up under the scorching sun on a hot day? Could it be some special performance of Magic City? For example, contact information for nationwide flight services? When I got closer, I realized that it was not a stall selling fried beef noodles at all. How can a small fried beef noodle soup mixed with chilled green bean shaved ice be so popular in a busy pedestrian street? These foreign tourists have absolutely no idea what is going on. Just now in the pedestrian street, they ate a variety of special foods. Even the internet-famous roasted crispy pork belly was tried. Although the taste is a bit disappointing, it is not as good as advertised online. But it's barely edible. However, those shops are at least in the commercial center of the pedestrian street. The stalls there all pay an annual fee. The stalls that are specially created by the person in charge can be said to be the places with the most customer traffic. However, compared with the long queue in front of us, it is completely insignificant. Oh my God! It's worthy of being called the Magic City. It turns out that this commercial center is at a fork in the road. It's really creative. Foreign tourists are discussing the uniqueness of Shanghai. On the side, many people continue to run towards Su Yang's stall. Listen to me, this is definitely the best beef noodles I have ever eaten in my life. Really? Isn't it just a bowl of fried beef noodles? Not to mention I've been eating it since I was a child. But it's nothing special. This is different. They added flour to it. Yes, they definitely added flour, and there is real ice in the mung bean paste. Powder? Ice. Those who heard it were confused. Is this city so open? Can things like powder and ice be talked about directly on the street? Even sold directly to the public? Shouldn't this be reported to the police? I saw the people next to me running over impatiently like the wind, and then excitedly standing at the back of the line to queue. These out-of-town tourists are no longer in control. I want to see what he is selling at his stall. As these tourists approached, I stood on tiptoe to look into the crowd. I saw a very handsome and good-looking man stirring the wok in front of the stall. His hands were very steady, and his control of the heat was perfect. As Su Yang's dazzling frying technique slowly came to a halt, a pot of steaming hot beef noodles was ready. Just take out the chilled mung bean shaved ice from the foam box, and the combination is complete. Everyone then understood that this noodle was indeed noodle, but it was just river noodle. Ice, also mung bean shaved ice. Although their doubts were resolved, these foreign tourists became even more confused. Fried beef noodles and mung bean shaved ice. Aren't they everywhere in the world? Whose night market doesn't have these things for sale? What's so strange? Could it be that people in the Magic City even think this kind of thing is delicious? This is really too bad. Just as they were showing disdain on their faces, a gust of wind blew by, bringing with it a fragrance that cannot be described in words. What the hell? Why is it so fragrant? Even saliva can't help but flow out. Everyone looked in the direction of the smell, and it was the smell of the fried beef noodles that Su Yang had divided into 3 portions and put into lunchboxes. This young guy seems to have something. Is it better than the fried beef noodles I had in Jiangxing before? Jiangxing? How can the fried beef noodles in Jiangxing compare to the ones here? Can you even eat that kind of fried beef noodles? The self-doubt of the foreign tourists was soon met with criticism from others around them, making them doubt their lives. What? Even the fried beef noodles in Jiangxing are not considered authentic now? These people looked at him with disbelief and did not continue talking, but pointed at the trash can next to them. At this moment, the trash can is already filled with lunch boxes of fried beef noodles. Especially inside these powder boxes, you can clearly see that they are cleaner than those licked by dogs. The question is, in Jiangxing, let alone fried beef noodles, even fried vermicelli, can you eat it? No, can you lick it so clean? These foreign tourists were collectively silent. Some of them were quick and ran to the back to line up, even though I just ate some messy so-called Magic City delicacies. But after smelling the aroma of Su Yang's fried beef noodles, they all said that they should be able to endure the pain in their stomachs for a while. After all, I have a big appetite, so please bear with me for a while. Soon another half an hour passed. Su Yang never stopped at all, and the other stall owners nearby were in tears. I originally thought of moving the stall out and placing it next to Su Yang to attract some traffic. As it turned out, none of them could be sold at all. This is different from last night. Yesterday, Su Yang only sold fried beef noodles, so the female student selling handmade lemon tea can still get a lick of it. But what about now? Su Yang prepared mung bean smoothie himself. Since Su Yang has better drinks here, who would still drink their milk tea or fruit tea? These are just junk of yours, neither healthy nor tasty. Usually there is no choice, you just have to drink it all. And you charge me $18 for a cup of milk tea? Fruit tea is even more outrageous. None is less than 20 yuan. But what about Su Yang's mung bean smoothie? It's only 3 yuan. Not only does it keep you cool in the summer, but it's also good for your physical and mental health. Especially, it tastes good. In this case, who would buy other drinks? Even if everyone would rather have a dry mouth, they had to wait until it was their turn in line to drink a cup of Su Yang's mung bean smoothie. Especially the satisfaction you feel after a long period of suffering. Just a small bite is enough to bring you to heaven. Just like people who often take saunas know. When taking a sauna, you must be patient. The longer you hold it in, the more refreshing it will be when you come out and cool down. Especially if you can have a glass of cold drink at this time. You can feel every pore opening up. It's even more pleasurable than wrestling with your girlfriend. After all, wrestling is tiring, whether you are attacked from above or from behind. The final winner must be your girlfriend, not you. But Su Yang's dry fried beef noodles paired with a cup of mung bean shaved ice. The refreshing feeling after putting it in your mouth is real. How could anyone refuse this? You can experience an extraordinary happiness for less than $20. This is why many people queue more than once. After all, in their opinion, the torment and torture of waiting in line is also part of the final burst of satisfaction. Just like some limited play. Chapter 35, you don't know where the most traffic is, right? Today's fried noodles are almost sold out. I estimate that there is still enough for 9 people, which means 3 pots. I'm so sorry to the guests who haven't had their meals yet. At the fork in the road, Su Yang looked at the rice noodles brought out from the food truck, and they were almost gone. He could only announce the news with an apology. Looking at the long and seemingly endless team, Su Yang had no choice. At this rate, no matter how much pho you bring with you, it won't be enough. Besides, I can't really stand here and cook beef noodles for the whole day, right? Even if my physical strength is at max after being strengthened by the god of cooking system, it is not a perpetual motion machine. You will still feel as tired as a normal person, but the threshold will come a little later. To use the simplest example, some people may feel very tired in less than a minute. But for Su Yang, It took him 2 hours to get into the state. But what if you keep cooking for more than 10 or 20 hours without taking a break? Cooking. You'll also feel tired and exhausted. When the people in the queue heard Su Yang's words, they all became agitated. What's going on? I've taken off my pants. My mouth is watering. Are you saying your fried beef noodles are going to be gone? Come on, boss. I just got in line. I feel bad, ma fei. If I can't have a bite of the boss's fried beef noodles today, I won't be able to play landlord anymore. Boss, I advise you to learn your lesson. Don't engage in hunger marketing. Hand over the fried beef noodles as soon as possible. Woo woo woo. I'll pay 3 times the price to buy your fried beef noodles. It's okay if you've eaten a bite. I won't mind. Of course, if it's the bowl in the beautiful lady's hand, I'm willing to pay 10 times the price. 10 times? 10 times? And you want to eat my fried beef noodles? Then how much do you want? This is a flat price. How about 200 yuan? Not for sale. The beautiful lady next to her was holding fried beef noodles. She was lucky as it was her turn to eat it. Now he was eating a mouthful of rice noodles and a sip of mung bean smoothie, which made the people in the queue behind him cry with greed. Don't even mention 200. Even if it's 2,000, can you afford it? The beauty snorted coldly and walked away with the fried beef noodles and mung bean shaved ice. She was afraid that if it was too late, someone might actually offer 2,000. By then, I might not be able to control myself. Amidst the noisy voices of dissatisfaction and pleading, a middle-aged fat man actually took 3 packed portions of fried beef noodles and 6 cups of mung bean smoothie, and was humming a tune and preparing to leave. In an instant, everyone's eyes turned red, and they rushed over to surround him. Everyone only buys 1 bowl. Why do you drink 3 bowls? That's right. Don't you know the slogan of our magic city? I am for everyone, and everyone is for me. Do you have any sense of public morality? Can you bear to eat so much by yourself? Stop talking, brothers. Help you share the burden. Hand over 2 copies, or don't even think about leaving. The middle-aged fat man who was surrounded was completely stunned. He was very arrogant at first, and even deliberately whistled at the people in the queue provocatively when he left. Well, now look what happens. Everyone is stopping him from leaving. If he had known this earlier, he wouldn't have pretended to be like this. Everyone in front of him had red eyes. Although it was just a plate of fried beef noodles, there was murderous intent in their eyes. It's like revenge for the murder of my father. I'll take out 2 servings of beef noodles, okay? The middle-aged fat man had no choice but to give in. If this thing was robbed, he wouldn't be able to find a way to seek justice. Even though I lost 2 servings of fried beef noodles, at least I saved 1, right? From now on, when you go out, no matter what, you can't act pretentiously. These people are really brave enough to rob for food. Seeing that the middle-aged fat man voluntarily handed over 2 servings of fried beef noodles, the others let him go. But how do we divide these 2 portions of beef noodles? Naturally, no one among the people who have been queuing here for such a long time is willing to give up. Finally decided that everyone could just share 1 bite each. Once this idea came out, no one else had any objection. After all, at least you can taste it, right? But as soon as the first person in the line took a bite of the food, he immediately regretted it. Damn it, such delicious fried beef noodles, but I can only eat 1 bite. Who can stand this? He couldn't help but want to pick up the second piece with chopsticks, but he instantly felt the strong, murderous intent coming from behind him. He was very unwilling and reluctantly put down his chopsticks. When the second person picked up the fried beef noodles in the lunchbox, his eyes were staring at him. The wonderful taste of the beef noodles just now kept coming back to my mind. How can this be called nyoha? Even if you kill the cowherd's cow, it can't taste this good. It would have been fine if I hadn't eaten it. But the key point was that I took a bite and the pain of the satisfaction on my taste buds coming to an abrupt end. It's simply unbearable. He looked at Su Yang with eyes eager for help, and Su Yang could only shrug helplessly. The fried beef noodles were really sold out, and there was nothing he could do. I can only say the last sentence. Come earlier next time. After hearing Su Yang's words, everyone finally gave up hope. No matter what, I will definitely not be able to eat a second bite of Su Yang's fried beef noodles today. Looking at the people in front of them, facing the 2 plates of fried beef noodles, you take 1 chopstick and I take 1 chopstick, and neither of them dislikes each other at all. After taking a look, Su Yang concentrated on tidying up his stall. Grease stains on the truck board, spilled ingredients, bits of rice noodles stuck to the pan. Su Yang cleaned up very carefully. Fortunately, he had his own spare water, and there was a trash can nearby. The reason why he didn't go back to the yard to clean it thoroughly was very simple. It is already 4:10, and the little boy Nuonua will finish school at 4:30 this afternoon. Suyang has to go pick her up. In order to welcome your own lovely little princess, of course you have to clean the mount thoroughly inside and out. Soon, Suyang finished packing and rode his electric tricycle towards the kindergarten. The customers who had been gathered here saw Suyang leaving and the 2 bowls of fried beef noodles that had already been completely divided up, so they had no choice but to leave. It's just, I feel like I'm totally unsatisfied after only having 1 bite of fried beef noodles. I'm afraid I won't be able to eat anything tonight. As for the remaining stall owners, I finally waited for Suyang to leave, and it was almost dark. This kind of pedestrian street has the highest traffic at noon and in the evening, but it is very ordinary in the afternoon. Right now, these vendors are very excited. Su Yang's success has proved that this fork in the road is the place with the highest traffic volume on this pedestrian street. If Su Yang doesn't steal their business, they will make a lot of money, right? But after waiting for more than 10 or 20 minutes, not a single customer came. They couldn't help but ask the sausage Annie and tofu uncle who had been setting up stalls here. Aren't we very popular? Why is there no one here? The aunt and uncle who were setting up the stall were both confused, their minds full of question marks. The booth fee here is only 50, so how can there be any traffic? Besides, haven't you been setting up stalls on the streets all the time? You don't know where the traffic is the highest, right? As for today, that was just because I encountered an unexpected BUG. Chapter 36, the most popular kid in kindergarten. It was already 4:40 in the afternoon when Su Yang arrived at Rainbow Kindergarten by bike. Su Yang was 10 minutes late for kindergarten to finish school. However, at this moment, the number of parents coming to the school gate to pick up their children is still very exaggerated. Obviously, although kindergarten can finish school on time, parents still have various things to do in their lives, so it is still a bit difficult to pick up their children on time. This is especially impossible for those office workers. So usually these children, even when school is over, stay in the kindergarten until 7 or 8 o'clock when their parents get off work and take them home. With the appearance of Su Yang, he is still so dazzling among the parents. He was wearing a white shirt, and his whole body was not only clean, but also incredibly handsome. Many female parents looked over from a distance. In addition, Su Yang was riding an electric tricycle, and the side of the tricycle even had the words dry-fried beef noodles written on it when he was setting up a stall. How does this not attract other people's attention? Isn't this Nuonuo's father? Why did you start setting up a stall? I never heard you mention this before. That's right, Nono's father. Where do you set up your stall? The food you make must be delicious. It's so hot today. Nono's father must have worked so hard. When these female parents saw Su Yang, they did not look down on him for setting up a stall. Instead, he cares about Su Yang very much, and they all expressed their enthusiasm that they would definitely go to support Su Yang when the time comes. Su Yang just smiled faintly and chatted casually with these students' parents. He doesn't really care what these students' parents think of him. After all, what's shameful about earning money by working with your own hands? While chatting with these parents, Su Yang followed the crowd towards the school gate. Those families who have already adopted their children looked at Su Yang's back and thought, what a sunny and handsome man. Why would he choose to set up a stall? Isn't it said that Su Yang has a high level of education? I heard that he graduated from a key university. With his education background, it shouldn't be difficult for him to find a job. I seem to have heard before that Nono's father gave up the opportunity to go to work in the company in order to pick Nono up from school. What? Where's Nono's mother? It seems that Nuonuo's mother was getting a divorce before. I heard about it too. Divorce? The divorce rate among young people nowadays is really high. But after all, our child has only seen Nono's mother twice since he started attending this kindergarten. It seems that it was Nono's father who came the rest of the time. You've seen it twice, but I haven't seen it once. I don't know how this Nono mother works. She doesn't even care about her own child. It's really hard for Nono's father. That's right. Nono's father is such a good man. He comes to pick up the kids from school every day regardless of the weather. I wish my man could be half as good as Nono's father. You can't say that. Didn't your man get promoted to manager recently? He makes a lot a year, right? Well, not much, but it's okay. After all, in the Magic City, no matter how much you earn, it's not enough to spend. This group of parents were still chatting, but the children they were holding could no longer bear it. They all clamored to eat ice cream. Seeing this, the parents said goodbye and left with their children. Su Yang also arrived at the school gate. As soon as I arrived, I saw a very cute little girl standing among a group of children inside the entrance of the kindergarten. They gathered the little girl in the middle and kept saying something in a pleading tone. No, I will bring the toys over tomorrow, but you have to remember your promise. I. I also have a doll. So Nuonuo, can I also have some of the fried beef noodles you bring tomorrow? No, no. I'll trade you my favorite strawberry cake tomorrow, okay? Here you go. This is my favorite crayon. Then, Nuonuo, please don't forget our agreement. The other parents who were standing at the school gate like Su Young looked at the scene in front of them and couldn't help laughing. What kind of secret meeting are these kids holding? What about dolls, strawberry cake, fried beef noodles? What is this mess? However, the little girl in the middle is so cute. Her face is fair, chubby, and her long, curved eyelashes blink all the time. I can't help but like her from the bottom of my heart at just one look. No wonder all the kids in kindergarten gather around her. If I were her age, I would also like to play with her. However, there is one thing they're still very confused about. Why is this cute kid holding a bunch of things in his hands? Colored pencils, toys, candies, milk, comic books. It can be said that it has everything. The key point is I didn't see this kid snatching other people's things. The children who were surrounding her were all willing to put the food into the little girl's hands, and even the expression on the little girl's face did not look very reluctant. It seems that these things are not very cost-effective in her opinion. Just when these parents were confused, they heard the little girl speak in a baby voice. I see. Don't worry. I'll bring you fried beef noodles tomorrow. There's also mung bean smoothie, one of the little boys reminded. Got it. I'll bring green bean smoothie too. That's good. Thank you, Nuonuo. You are so nice. Hearing the conversation between these children, the parents of the students nearby were even more confused. What is fried beef noodles? Don't kindergartens always prepare lunch? There is also mung bean smoothie. It's bad for children's stomach if they drink something too cold. Is there no teacher to supervise it? What? Even kindergarten teachers want to eat fried beef noodles and green bean shaved ice? When the parents looked over, they saw the cute little girl making a pinky promise with the kindergarten teacher and said that she would definitely bring one for the teacher tomorrow. What on earth is going on? The students' parents looked at each other in bewilderment. In particular, there was even a little boy who wanted to exchange it for a necklace from his mother's jewelry box. Isn't this too outrageous? They now really want to know what kind of fried beef noodles it is that can make these kindergarten students so obsessed with it. They stopped one of the kindergarten kids who had just walked out of the school gate and asked, "Kids, what is this fried beef noodles you just mentioned?" That was made by Nuonuo's father. It's super delicious, the child said excitedly, dancing with joy. Then the child looked to the side and saw a sunny and handsome figure. Wasn't that Nono's father? The child hurriedly shouted towards the kindergarten. "No, your dad is here to pick you up. Oh, don't forget our appointment." When Nuonuo heard the child's cry, he looked towards the door, and then his chubby little face instantly broke into a bright smile. "Dad, you're here to pick me up." Chapter 37, All the Kindergarten Teachers Want to Eat. Su Yang looked at the little guy, Su Inua's hands full of things, and he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If you don't know, you might think that this little guy has changed his career to become a bandit and robbed other kids in the class. "Dad, look, I have so many delicious and fun things." Nuonuo ran to Su Yang quickly with his short legs. She raised her little face with a look of pride, and her eyes were full of expressions like, "Praise me, praise me." Su Yang sighed helplessly and reached out to rub the little guy's head. "You didn't steal these things, did you?" Last time, Su Yang only said half of his words, but Nuo quickly remembered them. Dad was talking about the last time a little boy in the next class said he wanted to be friends with Nono. So after school, I gave Nuo a small toy. At first, Nuo didn't think it was a big deal, but the next day, the parents came to the kindergarten. It turned out that the toy was not only worth several thousand yuan, but there was even private money hidden inside, tens of thousands of yuan. Upon hearing the news, Su Yang quickly brought the toy back, thus resolving the issue. Fortunately, the other parent was a reasonable person and did not keep saying that there was less money in his pocket. Otherwise, Su Yang would have no way to defend himself. Who knows how much money is hidden inside this toy? Su Yang also took this opportunity to tell Nonua. It is normal for children to give each other gifts, but if the gifts are too expensive, we should not accept them. Don't worry, Dad. I checked everything this time. There's definitely nothing else. And these toy gifts are not expensive. Besides, if they insist on forcing it on me, I can't do anything about it. Looking at the smug expression on Nua's little face, what else could Su Yang say? Okay, I know our little cutie is the most popular in the kindergarten. When we get back, Dad will make you something delicious. Really? As soon as he heard about food, Nua instantly became energetic. Even drool flowed uncontrollably from the corners of his mouth. Then Nuonuo, I want to eat Dada's fried beef noodles, and also have it with green bean shaved ice. I want 2 cups of green bean smoothie, Nuonuo said as he counted on his fingers. Okay, Nuonuo, eat whatever you want and drink as much as you want. Su Yang picked up the little guy, his face full of doting expression. Other people around couldn't help but look over here. Standing at the gate of this kindergarten, it would be hard for such a good-looking father and daughter not to be noticed by others. In particular, many students' parents and teachers already know Su Yang. Not only is he handsome, but he is also a very reliable and good father. Teacher Zhang Qian, who was standing at the entrance of the kindergarten, couldn't help but look at Su Yang and Nuonuo. Her eyes were full of envy. I have such a handsome and sunny husband, and such a beautiful and lovely daughter. What kind of people choose to divorce? If it were me, I would never do such a thing. Come, say goodbye to the teacher. Su Yang held Nuonuo in his arms and turned towards teacher Zhang Qian. It was not until Nuonuo waved her soft little hands that teacher Zhang Qian came back to her fantasy. Goodbye, Nuonuo. You have to listen to your daddy at home, okay? Hee. Nuonuo will listen to daddy. After the little guy, Sui Nuo, finished speaking, he blinked his cute big eyes mysteriously at the kindergarten teacher Zhang Qian. Teacher. Seeing this, teacher Zhang Qian could only smile helplessly at Su Yang, then leaned over and moved towards Nuonuo. As teacher Zhang Qian bent down, because she had a good figure and wore loose clothes, a flash of Snow White instantly appeared in front of Su Yang. Although Su Yang adhered to the gentleman's principles, he did not take the initiative to watch it. But the problem is it's so big and so white, he can't just ignore it if he wants to. I forced myself to turn my head away, and then I heard speak in a low voice to teacher Zhang Qian. Teacher Dakian, I will bring you some delicious food made by my dad tomorrow. Su Yang thought it was something else. It was so mysterious, but it turned out to be this. But is the lunch in kindergarten really that bad? Even the teachers here are not used to the food? Impossible. Su Yang had participated in a kindergarten activity before and had lunch in the kindergarten. There are meat, vegetarian, and soup, and they taste pretty good. Su Yang was a little confused. After hearing what Nuonuo said, teacher Zhang Qian couldn't help but secretly glance at Su Yang. Her ears turned slightly red in an instant, as if they were gently brushed by warm sunshine. She was nervous, afraid of attracting everyone's attention, so she quickly forced a smile and said slowly, Okay, I understand. Then the teacher would like to thank little Nuonuo. You're welcome, teacher Dakian. After Nuonuo greeted teacher Zhang Qian, Su Yang took Nuonuo to the parked electric tricycle. After getting off the ground, Nuo quickly climbed to the passenger seat of the tricycle. Dad, let's go. Nuo seemed very excited and even shouted out loud. Everyone around was attracted. This cute little girl is so great. It's nothing like my own baby. Now it's either crying for street snacks or gonna buy toys, or shouting that today is Crazy Thursday. If possible, they really want to switch with Su Yang and let Nuonuo be their daughter. Of course, Su Yang was naturally unwilling to do this, as Nuonuo was the apple of his eye. I wouldn't exchange it for anything. Dad, please come home soon. I want to eat the fried beef noodles that you make. As soon as Su Yang started the electric tricycle, the little guy couldn't wait. Su Yang said, No, you had fried beef noodles this morning and at noon, so Nuonuo has to eat some normal food in the evening. Normal meal? It's just rice. But I don't want to eat rice noodles. I just want to eat the fried beef noodles made by my dad. No, be good. Let's eat fried beef noodles tomorrow. Dad. Along the way, Nuonuo tried his best to bargain with Su Yang, just because he wanted to eat fried beef noodles again in the evening. But Su Yang's attitude was also very firm. Although the dry fried beef noodles I make are delicious, it is still not good for children's health to eat such oily food 3 times a day. Especially since Nono is in the growing period, he should eat some normal and healthier food. In the end, the two had a fierce confrontation, and the price was an ice cream. Nono compromised. Nono agreed to this just to take care of you, Dad. The little guy looked like he had gotten something for nothing, and even patted Su Yang's shoulder, with a mischievous gleam in his eyes. Su Yang looked at the impish Nuonuo helplessly. A smile appeared on his lips, and he spoke in her tone. Okay, then Daddy really thanks Nuonuo. It's just as Nuo sat up straight, folded her arms, and responded in a baby voice. But she couldn't help herself, and started giggling, and her laughter sounded like the clear sound of bells. Along the way, the small electric tricycle traveled on the streets, and Nuonuo's laughter was like sunshine, warm and bright, attracting curious glances from passersby. Chapter 38. Suinua has always been generous. Is Nuonyo done with school? Passing by the gate of the yard, at the entrance of the alley, Grandpa Zhang and several of his neighbors were enjoying the cool under the shade of the trees. An old-fashioned wooden rocking chair, holding a palm leaf fan in hand, talking and laughing, looking very comfortable. When they saw Su Yang and Su Inua, they greeted them from afar. It's Grandpa Zhang. Didn't you say you wanted to treat Nuonyo to watermelon? And Grandma Lu, Ancho, hello. Su Inua is a little boy with a lot of smarts. He has already established a very good relationship with these grandparents, uncles, and aunts. This time, he turned his clever little eyes and asked Uncle Zhang for some watermelon. Uncle Zhang was not annoyed at all. Instead, he became even happier and waved the palm leaf fan in his hand. Don't be impatient, Nuonyo. The watermelon isn't very tasty yet. Wait a little longer. After hearing this, Su Inua deliberately frowned and then pretended to be angry. Then I'll have to eat an extra big watermelon. Ha! Okay, then let Nuonyo eat until his little tummy is full. The conversation between Su Inua and Uncle Zhang was also heard by several other people, and they all smiled unconsciously. This little girl Nuonyo, at such a young age, has already grabbed our Master Zhang's hand and pinched him. What will happen when she grows up? Who told us that little girl Nuonyo is the cutest among us? Grandpa Zhang doesn't care about anything else. He just wants his granddaughter to get married soon so that he can take care of the baby. Now Nuonyo is born. Come to think of it, didn't we forget about what happened between Grandpa Zhang's granddaughter and Su Yang last time? Ha! It's true. While several people were talking, Su Yang greeted the old man and woman with a smile, then rode his bike back to his own yard. But as soon as Su Inua got out of the stroller, he couldn't wait to go out with the toys and snacks in his hands. Su Yang was a little confused at first. What evil ideas did this little girl have? But soon, Nuonua's voice was heard from outside the yard. This is for Xiao. This is for Xian Xian. Well, I'll give you half of this. Su Yang smiled and then realized what was going on. Nuonyo distributed the toys and snacks he received from kindergarten to the children of nearby neighbors. Most of the children here are taken care of by elders who are around the same age as their grandparents. The children are not much older than Nono, and the oldest is only in the 3rd grade of elementary school. But ever since Su Inua came here, in kindergarten, she seemed to have become the king of children. Not only did he not follow other kids foolishly. On the contrary, other children come to play with Nono every day. Of course, Nono is also very generous. If there is anything delicious or fun, I will share it with you. That's why, even though Nuonyo is young, she has quite a lot of little fans. Even the neighbors are just boasting, although these snacks and toys are not worth much. But Nono's good quality of knowing how to share is very rare. It would be great if such a sensible little girl was my granddaughter. This idea is shared by almost every neighbor nearby. It's a pity that she only has one father in her heart, and that's Su Yang. Dad, I've distributed all the toys. Now do you want me to help with the cooking? Su Inua trotted in from outside and saw Su Yang busy cooking. He spoke expectantly. But isn't today the day when Tiga will be rebroadcast? As Su Yang spoke, Nuonua's little face instantly revealed a bitter expression. She frowned and tilted her head, thinking for a moment before finally speaking with difficulty. I can watch it tomorrow, Tiga, but right now, I still want to help Dad make dinner. I see. Su Yang smiled and touched Nuonua's head. It was obvious that she was in great pain to make this decision. Then Nuonyo, please help me wash the vegetables next to it. Got it? I promise to complete the task. Su Inua's tone was very firm. Remember to remove the celery leaves and the potatoes. I know, Dad. You've told me many times. Can't you just trust Nuonyo? I'm not a 3-year-old kid anymore. Su Inua expressed his anger in a childish voice. Indeed, she is no longer a 3-year-old child since the beginning of this year. Su Yang smiled and didn't say anything else. He began to process the chicken in his hand. This chicken was raised by the neighbor next door and was given to Su Yang and Nuonyo to eat. I heard that it took quite a long time to raise it, 2.5 years. The authentic free-range chicken is so special just by holding it in your hand and looking at its color. Needless to say, this chicken might have had some other talents when it was alive. Su Yang thought about it and felt that a whole chicken was still too big for him and Nuonyo. He first cut a whole chicken into half, then chopped it into small pieces with exquisite knife skills, and then filtered it again with clean water. Su Yang heated up the iron pan, put a small amount of peanut oil in it, and then added ginger and peppercorns to stir-fry. Then he added the clean chicken pieces and stir-fried them. With Su Yang's clean and neat movements, the chicken and the water in the pot had been fried dry. At this time, Su Yang added soy sauce, cooking wine, scallion segments, garlic cloves, and other seasoning ingredients. After a few stir-fries, boiling water was added, and the amount of water was just enough to cover the chicken. Finally, Su Yang put on the lid and started to simmer. The chicken processed in this way is tender and not dry, and it can be said that the original flavor of the chicken is retained as much as possible. As time goes by, the refreshing aroma of chicken slowly wafts out. Although this is not a recipe on the kitchen god system, Su Yang has also studied many food recipes in order to take care of the daily life of the little guy's father. He himself has no aversion to cooking. On the contrary, he is very interested in it. As the chicken was ready, Su Yang cooked 2 more home-cooked dishes: green pepper, ham, potato chips, tomato, and egg soup. 2 people, 3 dishes enough. Moreover, over the years, because his ex-wife was very busy with work, most of the time Su Yang and Nuonyuo had to make dinner by themselves. Su Yang has also developed an excellent grasp of dinner portions, making sure that the portion size is just enough for 2 people to be full, with almost no waste. After all, both Su Yang and Nuonyuo have a little problem, which is that they don't like to eat leftovers. Although we all have refrigerators now, once the food is left overnight, it always feels like it has lost its original taste. For Nuonyuo, of course she likes the food cooked by her father Su Yang, but it would be best if it wasn't leftovers. For Su Yang, if possible, of course he would like to give the little guy's father the freshest meals. Although it is easy to cook leftovers from the previous night, Su Yang doesn't want to settle for it. After all, he has always believed that cooking for his daughter is a very happy and fulfilling thing. In particular, Noah would always give face and eat both the rice bowl and the vegetable bowl cleanly. Chapter 39. To be honest, Yin Lily is pretty good. In the evening, after Su Yang washed up the dishes, he lay on the bed and rested for a while. He actually didn't feel very tired. He just got used to it when there was no system. Every day after dinner and washing the dishes, I will take a short break for half an hour to let my body relax. Su Yang leaned against the head of the bed, the system's points already emerging in his mind. 846 points. To be honest, even Su Yang was a little surprised by this data. This is enough for 8 draws. This can be regarded as the richest reward so far. But if you think about it carefully, there is no problem. The system calculates points each time the other party pays the bill. Before, when Su Yang set up a stall to sell fried beef noodles at night, although he made a lot of money from each serving of beef noodles, the quantity was simply not increasing. But right now, this green bean smoothie only makes about 2 yuan per cup. The problem is that there are a lot of these things, and they sell very well. Because of this, Su Yang reached an astonishing score of over 800 points through his hard work this morning and afternoon. Without any unnecessary nonsense, Su Yang muttered to himself and started shooting. Congratulations, host. You won the Godly Chef System Lottery. 10 pieces of super soft and sticky glutinous rice candy. Please do not give to elderly people wearing dentures. Congratulations, host. You won the Godly Chef System Lottery. An onion used by the god of cookery. It's green onion. I added onion. Congratulations, host. You won the Godly Chef System Lottery. A bottle of strong cleaning agent. It's not just the food that customers can enjoy. Congratulations to the host. You won the Godly Chef System Lottery. Get the secret recipe of the traditional crystal cake. You can call me Crystal Cake or Ice Crystal Cake. I can bear it. Congratulations, host. You won the Godly Chef System Lottery. Congratulations, host. You won the Godly Chef System Lottery. Soon, Su Yang used up all the 8 chances to draw in the Godly Chef system. But unfortunately, my luck is not very good today, although all the rewards obtained are related to cooking. But the only method that can really be used is the making method of the top-quality crystal cake. And Su Yang probably studied this so-called premium crystal cake in his mind. Its method is actually quite different from those currently on the market. Apparently, it really is some secret recipe or something. A faint smile appeared on Su Yang's face. In less than a second, he had mastered all the details and techniques of making this traditional delicacy. It is worthy of being called the God Chef system. No matter how many times I experience it, I still find it too magical. Those details and tips on making delicious food seem as if they were really accumulated bit by bit over the years. Just like the fried beef noodles and mung bean shaved ice before. It was as if Su Yang had become a crystal cake master with decades of experience. It is no exaggeration to say that in the entire Dragon Country, Su Yang said that his crystal cake ranks second and no one can rank first. Especially this kind of crystal cake made with a secret recipe. Just thinking about it in my mind, I can already smell the delicious taste. I didn't expect that there is such a way to make crystal cake. It can be said that Su Yang's understanding was refreshed once again. Fortunately, after experiencing a divorce, he no longer has any major psychological fluctuations about any other things. After all, it only takes a glance to know what clothes are suitable to wear tonight and what posture is the best, with such intimate and seamless tacit understanding. But so what? Su Yang shook his head slowly and stopped thinking about that woman. He checked the other item rewards of the godly chef system, although most of them were useless. But it can't be said to be completely useless. For example, super soft and sticky glutinous rice candy. Su Yang ate one and found it was really soft, sticky, and very sticky. If those retired uncles and aunts ate this, they would be. There was also the onion used by the god of cookery. Su Yang just picked it up and placed it in front of his eyes, and instantly he had the urge to cry. You know what? This thing is really useful. As for the strong cleaning agent, that's even more amazing. Su Yang took it to the kitchen and tried it out, especially since he was renting a house that was quite old. So there are a lot of old dirt residues in the kitchen of the house, the kind that can't be wiped off even if you use all your strength. However, after Su Yang applied this powerful cleaner, a magical scene happened. It took almost no effort, just took out a rag and wiped it, and all the dirt and grease stains were gone. Even the places that have been wiped look like new, which makes them seem a bit out of place in the entire kitchen. What the hell? Su Yang was once again shocked by this magic chef system. He originally thought that these random rewards were useless. But after trying it out, I found that it is still somewhat useful. At 6 o'clock in the evening, Su Yang had not planned to go out to set up a stall today, because today's daytime business is better than I expected. First of all, there were only 100 or so cups of mung bean smoothie left. There was almost no rice noodles left for stir-frying beef noodles. Although Su Yang had already called the owner of the flower shop while cooking dinner and asked him to send over 100 kilograms of rice noodles. But when I called the owner of the mung bean shop, he told me that there were no mung beans for sale today. The earliest we can do that is tomorrow morning. Su Yang could only nod and said that it would be okay to send it over tomorrow morning. As for the crystal cake, whether it's the ingredients or the time required to make it, it's definitely too late. However, after the flower shop owner brought the rice noodles, Noah became extremely excited. He said that he would go out with Su Yang to set up a stall to sell fried beef noodles tonight. For this reason, I even stopped watching my beloved Balala the Fairies. Su Yang was helpless. To be honest, Yin Lily was actually quite good, especially since she liked black stockings. Finally, Su Yang had no choice but to agree as the little guy was pestering him. Anyway, it's not too late now, so there's no problem even if we only sell fried beef noodles. More than 100 cups of mung bean smoothie were also processed. Although they had been kept in a newly bought freezer, the taste of the mung bean smoothie would still be slightly affected after a night. Get in the car, Nona, let's go. Dad is the best. At this moment, Su Inua had already changed out of her little skirt and put on casual clothes. Even her hair was neatly tied up into a small pigtail. It can be seen that she has made full preparations to sell fried beef noodles today. Chapter 40, you didn't get to eat the damn fried beef noodles, so you went crazy, right? Night market stalls opposite the university town. The streets are filled with the smell of fireworks and the city is brightly lit. As night slowly fell, college students from 3 nearby universities began to struggle out of their dormitories like zombies to look for food. There are so many food stalls near the university town, especially in the alley across the street, that they are too numerous to count. Students have many different choices for dinner. Oden, stewed food, grilled tofu, squid skewers, fried chicken, homemade hamburgers, rigiamo, hand-pulled pancakes. It can be said that for them, what to eat every day is a more difficult choice than taking an exam. But at this moment, the strange thing is that there are 20 or 30 students, not just from one class, but not even from the same school, all gathered at the entrance of the college alley. They looked anxious, and the leader was looking around for something. Are you here? Why aren't you here yet? Are you sure you bought the fried beef noodles here last time? It must be this. There's no mistake. It's only been a day, and I don't have Alzheimer's. That's true, but Fei, is the fried beef noodles you mentioned open today? Who knows this? I just discovered this fried beef noodle stall for the first time yesterday. Hey, why hasn't he come yet? If I can't eat such delicious fried beef noodles today, I won't be in the mood for class tomorrow. Stop pretending. Don't you know how many times you skip classes a week? I have to answer for you every time. If you don't treat me to fried beef noodles today, I won't help you tomorrow. Come quickly, the boss of the fried beef noodle shop. I am the magic boy who made a contract with you, and I command you now. Show up quickly. You didn't get to eat the damn fried beef noodles, so you went crazy first, right? To be honest, the sight of 20 or 30 college students gathered at the entrance of the alley was quite attractive. Especially those stall owners. They naturally look forward to these students coming to their stalls to buy food. Classmate, do you want to eat fried noodles? I have decades of experience in making noodles, and the taste is absolutely amazing. There is a fried noodle stall at the entrance of the alley all year round with a sign that reads Fried Noodle King. After seeing Su Yang's fried beef noodle stall yesterday, he went back to reflect on his mistakes, look through recipe books, and managed to improve his fried noodles technique. Right now, he is very confident that the fried noodles he makes are definitely 10 times more delicious than before, especially the dry, fried beef noodles. It is absolutely the best. Master Wong, the fried noodle king, knocked the spoon heavily on the edge of the pot, then turned on the fire and prepared to start frying the noodles. However, the large group of students just looked back and lost interest. It tastes terrible. I'm sorry, your fried noodles have been around for more than a year, and I'm tired of them. Boss, stop lying. My roommate just fell for your trick and ate your fried beef noodles. Now he regrets it. Although it's not that bad, it's still far inferior to that handsome boss who specializes in stir-fried beef noodles. That's right, we came here just for that handsome boss. We have to save some space for his fried beef noodles. Don't be sad, boss. You are the king of fried noodles, and he is the king of fried beef noodles. You both have a bright future. Upon hearing what the student in front of him said, Master Wong, the king of fried noodles, was stunned. The spatula in my hand almost slipped as if I had lost my balance. His iron pot hissed over the flames, and after a while of heating, wisps of white smoke actually rose from the pot, as if protesting his distraction. My defense was broken. I didn't expect that after selling fried noodles for so many years, my defense would be broken today. Is that young man's fried beef noodles really that delicious? I don't think he dares to come today. Master Wong still felt a little unconvinced. The stall owner selling roasted chicken legs nearby was very kind and comforted him. Master Wong, don't blame these students for being picky. After so many years, not only them, but even I am tired of eating your fried noodles. Think carefully. Over the years, has the taste of your fried noodles improved? Is your service attitude good? Look for the reasons within yourself. The fried noodle king's face turned cold and looked very ugly. This damn roasted chicken leg bastard. Isn't he just jealous that my business was doing well in the past and no one bought his roasted chicken legs? Is there any technical content in your roasted chicken legs? They are all frozen and seasoned. You can just put them directly on the grill and grill them. Is that a bit skillful? We who cook fresh food look down on you who pre-make it the most. There is no technical content at all, yet you sell it at such a damn high price. A roasted chicken leg, 7 pieces for a small one and 12 pieces for a large one. You still have the nerve to say my fried noodles are bad. Master Wong snorted coldly and didn't bother to talk to the owner of the roasted chicken leg stall in front of him. Classmate, may I ask, the boss who was selling beef noodles at the stall next to you yesterday didn't come? Opposite the Chow Noodle King, there is a small stall with the words handmade lemon tea written on it. In order to attract people, many homemade small lights are hung on the stall, which looks very beautiful. Especially the stall owner of the handmade lemon tea, he is very handsome. Overall, his appearance can at least get 80 or 9 points among college students. This girl was none other than Yu Wei, the college student who had carefully leaned against Su Yang to set up his stall yesterday. Although her name sounds like Yu and Wei, in reality, they are completely opposite. Simply put, it's big, but she still dresses quite conservatively, so most people can't tell. Only someone as experienced as Su Yang could spot it at a glance. The student standing in front of Yu Wei at this moment asked her if she knew Su Yang. She shook her head and spoke in a very pleasant voice. I don't know either, but he hasn't come today. After hearing Yu Wei say this, these college students even felt a little bit hopeless. Is it true that he won't come tonight? Help! If I can't eat such delicious fried beef noodles every day, what's the point of living? It's better not to go to this crappy university. In fact, not only these college students were waiting for Su Yang, even Yu Wei would raise her head and look around from time to time. For some reason, from the moment she left the house today, she was looking forward to setting up the stall tonight. I used to set up a stall to earn a living, and if possible, It would be even better if I could earn more for tuition. When I set up the stall now, it's still because of another reason. Soo-young, why hasn't he come yet? Is he really not coming today? And that cute and funny little sister. Today, Yue even prepared a gift specifically for the little guy. I have never felt so uneasy before. Even the handmade lemon tea I sold was less than usual. She didn't shout at all, but just looked around with her beautiful eyes from time to time. Finally, a bright smile suddenly appeared on Yue's face. It's like sunshine in winter. So beautiful. This made the students around stunned for a moment. It turns out that this girl selling lemon tea is so pretty, but why doesn't she usually smile? Just when some people were confused, a soft and cute voice came from a distance. Dad, it's my sister. Can we still go to my sister's place to set up a stall? Okay, listen to Nuonuo. Chapter 41 Dad said that each person can only buy 3 copies at most. Soo-young finally showed up bringing Nuo and his electric tricycle. There is also the signature dish of dry, fried beef noodles. Here he comes. It's the handsome boss who sells fried beef noodles. It's him. Ow. Hey, why the hell are you singing? Did I sing? Did I really sing? Unbelievable. Woo. I finally waited for you. Luckily, I didn't give up. Why the hell are you singing? Did I sing? You must have heard it wrong. Fried beef noodles. Tuan's favorite fried beef noodles. It's hard to imagine what's wrong with the mental health of modern young college students. I can only say that it is quite complicated. Even when they saw Soo-young showing up with his beef noodle stall, these college students had already started lining up in advance. As soon as Soo-young drove the electric tricycle in front of them, these college students couldn't help but speak. Boss, you're finally here. I haven't eaten for a whole day just to eat your fried beef noodles. That's right, the food in the school cafeteria is simply inedible. Duck necks. All of them are duck necks. Who can stand it? Forget about the duck neck. I can't even chew it. It's hard to believe that I'm only 21 years old and my teeth can't even chew the meat in the cafeteria. Shirtan? Only the first 4 letters are correct. I guarantee that even if Bear Grylls came, he would probably die in our university cafeteria. Either there's too much salt or there's no salt. Who adds ginger to braised chicken? Only our cafeteria can do that. And it looks more like chicken than fucking chicken. Where's the real braised chicken? I can only say that the potatoes in the cafeteria have worked so hard that they can be the meat for all kinds of dishes. Soo-young started to set up the stall while listening to the complaints of the students in front of him. He smiled. The students' words made him feel very kind. After all, who didn't come from such a crappy school cafeteria back then? Soo-young remembered very clearly that there was a lake in their school and there were many fish in it. On weekdays, there is no fish dish in the cafeteria. Whenever the fishing season comes, the fish instantly becomes a regular in the cafeteria. There is nothing wrong with this. After all, they are fish raised in our own school, right? But the problem is, no one takes care of your lake. After the fish was cooked, even if the cafeteria aunt tried her best to add seasonings, she couldn't cover up the muddy smell. The meat was very tough and not tasty at all. It's really used to feed the stray cats in the school. Even the stray dogs won't eat it. Soo-young naturally has a deep understanding of this kind of pain that is engraved in his DNA. Big brothers and big sisters, please line up. Dada's fried beef noodles are delicious. As Soo-young set up the stall, Nunu also began to perform his job and shouted. Seeing her chubby little face, which looked like a serious little adult, everyone around her couldn't help but burst into laughter. Nuonuo looked confused and wondered what everyone was laughing at. However, seeing that these college students were still queuing up very politely, Nuo finally became tough again. Everyone line up and scan the code here later. Click. Soo-young glanced at Yue, who was selling lemonade at the stall next to him. Then I turned on the fire and started heating the pot. When everyone saw that Soo-young had already started to heat up the pot, their excitement immediately grew even more intense. Here it comes, it's finally here. The boss is getting serious now. Is he going to start cooking? I heard that the boss is also an excellent wok flipper. I must eat 2, no 3 helpings later. You want 3? I'll take 5. I can save them for tomorrow. 5? Aren't you too greedy? I'll buy 10. If you dare to buy 10, I'll buy 2. Hearing these people reporting increasingly exaggerated numbers, Nuo couldn't help it. Stop talking. If the number gets any bigger, I won't even do the math. She quickly spoke up to stop him. Dad said each person can only buy 3 at most. What? You can only buy 3? I'm done for. My old roommate is probably going to starve to death today. No, I have to call them and tell them to buy it themselves. It's impossible to bring it today. Little guy, can't you be flexible? I need to take care of my roommate's sons. Without me, they can't survive at all. Faced with these people's temptations, Nuonyuo was very principled and did not leave any room for them. Although she is young, she knows one thing very well. Good things should be shared with more people. If they each buy several servings, then won't the others be unable to enjoy the delicious food made by their dad? Nuonyuo wants more people to know that the food his father cooks is the best in the world. Of course, this way, she can also easily calculate how much the other party should scan the code and pay. 3 times 12 equals 36. Nuonyuo remembers this number very clearly. If there were any more, she was afraid she wouldn't be able to wrap her head around it. That's it. A maximum of 3 servings per person is the best. The stall owner who was selling roasted chicken legs also saw Su Yang, but he just had a smile on his face, as if he was watching the fun. In particular, his eyes switched back and forth between the fried noodles king and Su Yang. The meaning is very clear. Are you worthy of being called the king of fried noodles in front of others? For so many years, he has been running this roasted chicken leg business, but has always been looked down upon by this fried noodle king. But he had no choice. This fried noodle king was still quite skilled. So now, with Su Yang's arrival, he could also see that the king of fried noodles was defeated. This is more satisfying than making money yourself. The fried noodles king glared at him coldly, then looked toward Su Yang. There were so many people that the 20 or 30 students who had been waiting there all went over at once. There were also many diners who rushed over from the alley after hearing that Su Yang was coming, and they all ran over. When had he ever seen such good business? It's outrageous. It's really outrageous. Seeing that the time was almost right, the owner of the roasted chicken legs left the stall and queued up behind the crowd. Some even hummed to themselves while waiting in line. Try what the fried beef noodles made by Chaofin Xianren taste like. Master Wang was so angry when he saw the villain's smug look, but there was nothing he could do about it. The students who were queuing in front of the grilled chicken leg owner greeted him with a smile when they saw him. Hey, uncle, you're here to eat fried beef noodles too. Are you not going to guard your stall anymore? There's not many people here. What's the point of guarding here? I keep smelling the aroma of this fried beef noodles. I want to try it today too. TSK, I didn't realize this uncle is quite interesting. I can't say anything else, but this boss's fried beef noodles are absolutely the best in the world. Not only that, Dad made some new mung bean smoothie today, and it's also super delicious. When Nuonyuo heard the conversation between the two, he immediately patted his chest with pride and recommended his new product, mung bean smoothie. Chapter 42. Boss, you still sell cold drinks? You want to save our lives? What? The boss of this fried beef noodles is selling cold drinks today. Anything to drink? Mung bean smoothie? It sounds delicious. Not only the college students queuing up, but also some of the vendors selling drinks were quite surprised. Yesterday, after seeing Su Yang's fried beef noodles selling well, the female college student who was selling lemon tea next to him also saw a surge in sales. Anyone with a little business acumen would know that they should cling to Su Yang's thighs. Of course, there is no competitiveness in setting up a stall selling food next to him. The best thing to do is to set up a stall selling cold drinks like that female college student. As a result, today, after waiting for Su Yang with great difficulty, he just came over to serve drinks, and the little guy Nuonyuo actually said that they prepared green bean smoothie by themselves. I was stunned. I was completely stunned right there. On the contrary, the female college student Yu Yue didn't have any special expression, but just moved towards Nuonyuo's chubby little hand with curiosity. A cup of mung bean smoothie with cool, white steam still emitting from it was swaying in her hand. Looks pretty good. What a cute little guy. Is your green bean smoothie delicious? The college students who were waiting in line thought Nuonyuo was so adorable when they saw him shouting and selling new products. She couldn't help but touch Nuonyuo's head, and then tentatively asked if the mung bean smoothie tasted good. Of course it tastes good. This is made by my dad himself. The quantity is limited. If you can't drink it, it's your loss, sister. After hearing Nuonyuo's words and seeing her cute appearance, let alone a cup of mung bean shaved ice, even if it was just a glass of boiled water, I would buy them all to try. Okay, give me a cup to try. By the way, how much is this cup? It's not expensive. Nuonyuo stretched out 3 fingers and continued in a baby voice. $3? Okay, sister, scan the code. The female college student took out her mobile phone and scanned the QR code on the stall. Soon, Su Yang received news that the Zafubo money had arrived in her account. Nuonyuo also opened the phone box again picked out the best ice cup, and handed it to the female college student in front of her. Sister, drink this, it's cool. Nuonuo's performance made the female college students like him more and more. Even the people queuing behind were impressed. Everyone thought that Nuonuo would directly hand the cup in his hand to the female college student who paid. After all, the cup was only taken out not long ago, and there was no quality problem. But Nuonua took out another cup from the phone box. Although he is so young, he is quite good at business. In particular, her little mouth is as white as honey, and the words she speaks are sweet and pleasant to the ear. How could these college students lining up not like this even more? The female college student took the mung bean shaved ice handed to her by Nuonuo and felt the thin layer of frost on the surface of the cup. Obviously, Suyang has a good control over the temperature of the shaved ice. But fortunately, the female college student had already had a special situation last week, so it was really a pleasant thing to drink this cool, cold drink on a summer night. Sizzle. After taking a deep breath, an expression of extreme joy appeared on the female college student's face in an instant. This green bean smoothie is so delicious, isn't it? Although I had expected it. After all, the little guy said that it was made by his father Suyang himself. With his skill in cooking beef noodles, the taste of this mung bean shaved ice shouldn't be too bad. But after taking a bite, I still feel an incomparable satisfaction. That dense and smooth taste, especially with the cool smoothie, it's like going back to the summer afternoons of my childhood, lying under the shade of a tree, with the breeze bringing cool comfort. How about it, sister? I was right, wasn't I? Dad, mung bean smoothie is the best in the world. Nuonua raised her little face, and that familiar arrogant expression appeared on her face again. The female college student also nodded and agreed very much. This is truly the best summer drink I've ever had. This mung bean smoothie is so delicious. Of course, Nuonuo, I never lie, Nuonuo said with a smile, then continued to hold up the mung bean shaved ice in his hand and said to the college students who were still queuing, "Are there any brothers or sisters who want to buy anything? Limited quantity, while stocks last." When people in the queue heard Nuonua say that the portion of mung bean shaved ice was not large today, they all rushed to speak up. "I want a drink. I want a drink. Give me a drink. I'm thirsty too. Give me a drink too. I have scanned the code. It's $3 a cup. I paid $6. Can you please give me 2 cups, boss?" For a moment, the only sound that could be heard was the nonstop sound of Su Yang's mobile phone scanning codes. Crazy reminder. 3 yuan will be deposited into your account with Zafubo. So many people want to drink mung bean smoothie, which confused Nono. Especially since this thing has been made in advance. There is no need to queue. It's all about sailor speed. Pay the bill first. Nuonua was simply unable to handle the workload alone, and everyone said they had already paid. Just when Nuonua was anxiously regretting her decision, a graceful figure walked over, accompanied by a very pleasant voice. "Here, your green bean smoothie." Nuonua looked in the direction of the pair of fair and beautiful hands and saw that it was Yu Yue who had invited her to drink handmade lemon tea yesterday. Seeing that Nuonua was too busy and Su Yang needed to concentrate on cooking beef noodles, she decisively put down her stall and walked over. With Yu Yue's help, the rhythm of the entire scene was finally brought under control. The two of them kept taking out the prepared mung bean shaved ice from the phone box and then handed it to the people in the queue. The first thing these customers in line do when they get the mung bean smoothie is to insert the straw eagerly. On a sultry night, taking a sip of the cool mung bean shaved ice will make you feel so satisfied that your soul will almost float out of your head. It's really delicious, little boss. Your mung bean shaved ice is so delicious. It's sweet but not greasy, and it's icy and cool. It's so refreshing. This mung bean smoothie is very relaxing to drink, unlike milk tea, where you have to worry about gaining weight after taking a sip. Did I hear someone insinuating my Jay Cho? Give Jay Cho some of the boss's mung bean smoothie. Maybe he can return to his youthful peak. I don't care about that. Let me drink to my heart's content first. Chapter 43, are you really going? You really have no shame at all? Soon, it was already 7:50 in the evening. For people in the past, this time is already late. It's almost time to watch TV again and get ready for bed. But for today's pace of urban life, the night has just begun. As some workers get off work, the flow of people at the night market stalls opposite the university town is increasing. Su Yang's stall was naturally extremely popular. On the first day, because no one knew about this treasure-fried beef noodles, Su Yang's stall was unpopular for a long time. But today, only one day has passed. Ever since Su Yang started setting up his stall, he has never stopped. Right now, it can be said that Su Yang's fried beef noodle stall is the most popular place in this night market. The key is that the flow of customers comes in waves, and they all come here to queue up. There were only 20 or 30 people at the beginning, but soon it became 50 or 60 people. The situation is even more exaggerated now. There are at least hundreds of people in the long queue. Logically speaking, Su Yang's cooking speed for stir-frying beef noodles is not slow. It can be ready in a few minutes, and one pot can make 3 servings. But this speed is far from enough. Not only did the number of people queuing not decrease, but it gradually increased a lot. In fact, this number is showing a trend of continuing to increase. Some college students even took the initiative to take photos of the situation here and posted them on the campus walls. Sisters, I won't allow anyone to not know about Juwei fried beef chow mein. It's absolutely delicious after one bite. Still hesitating? If you don't eat now, you will miss the chance. Oh, there's a new product today. The mung bean smoothie is also super delicious. The boss of the fried beef noodles is so cool and looks very young. And his daughter is also very cute. Even many college student circle of friends have seen a large number of short videos about Su Yang's newest stall. For a while, the most discussed topic in several nearby universities was not the campus beauty goddess, but Su Yang's fried beef noodles. Yin Yin, look at your moments. Isn't this the fried beef noodles you took us to yesterday? Lin Xian flipped through her circle of friends and watched a short 10-second video 5 or 6 times. Then she spoke with a smile on her face. Are any of you hungry? I can bring you some midnight snacks. Yin Yin, are you bringing some midnight snacks? Or do you want to buy some fried beef noodles? Or is it for something else? Hearing that her roommate had directly exposed her little thoughts, Lin Xian blushed slightly and said angrily, "Just tell me if you want to eat or not. It's my treat. Eat, of course. And that green bean smoothie they mentioned, I want to try it too. That's all, wait. I'll buy it for you." Seeing Lin Xian excitedly open the door and walk out, the other roommates looked at each other helplessly. It's over. It seems that the campus beauty of Jiangning University has developed a foodie nature. Now those junior students are going to cry to death in their beds. Hey, king of fried noodles, have you ever tried the fried beef noodles across the street? I won't eat it. Really not eating? Stop trying to save face. You need to know yourself and your opponent before you can improve yourself. What? You really don't want to try? In no mood. Old Wong, stop pretending. I know you want to try the taste of their fried beef noodles, but you can't save your face, right? No. Is that so? Then I'll go and queue up to buy a portion of their fried beef noodles. The man standing in front of the fried noodles king is also in the fried noodles business. However, his stall was at the other end of the alley, and he heard that a young chef who cooked delicious fried beef noodles had come here. So he came over to try the taste. After meeting my old acquaintance Lao Wang, I couldn't help but sigh when I saw that there was not a single customer in front of his fried noodles king stall. Fortunately, Su Yang and I live far away from each other, so many people who only want to have a few bites at night can do it as it is convenient. Although the business is indeed visibly less, it is still much better than Lao Wang's. After talking to Lao Wang, he turned and walked towards Su Yang's stall. Are you really going? You really don't have any shame at all? When Lao Wang saw that he was really planning to go to Su Yang's stall to buy fried beef noodles, his expression suddenly changed. His originally calm expression immediately became extremely complicated, and his heart began to struggle. Finally, he gritted his teeth and spoke with determination. Bring me one too. What? The man turned around, looked at Lao Wang, and deliberately repeated the question. I'll give you money. Lao Wang naturally understood that he did it on purpose, and said with a somewhat impatient tone, "Haha." Hearing what Lao Wang said, the man laughed. It had been a long time since he saw Lao Wang so frustrated. When it comes to the skill of making fried noodles, the man admits that Lao Wang is indeed good. At least in this small night market, Lao Wang is the only one who can afford to use the 4 words, Chow Noodle King, as his signboard. It's just a pity. Now a young man who specializes in stir-frying beef noodles came from somewhere. There is not a single customer who has eaten there who failed to praise it, especially after trying Su Yang's fried beef noodles. They will never go to other people's fried noodle stalls again. For him, who also makes a living by selling fried noodles, his situation is actually as dangerous as Lao Wang's. Am I that kind of person? A bowl of fried beef noodles is just a treat for you. You said so. TSK, you are still so stingy, Lao Wang. Hey, what are you talking about? Can you please get in line soon? If you wait too long, you won't be able to buy it. The man was also stunned. He looked at Lao Wang and then at the line in front of Su Yang's stall. While the two were chatting just now, more than a dozen people appeared. Damn it. It's a good thing I handed over my stall to my wife today. Otherwise, I would have nothing to do tonight and would just be waiting in line here. The man immediately trotted to the back of the team. But before he could stand firmly, he saw the customers in front of him dispersed one after another. What's going on? The man looked confused again. All I heard were the customers who were leaving, all with annoyed expressions. Damn it, it sold out so quickly today. Looks like I'll have to come here early tomorrow to wait. Wow, I didn't get to eat fried beef noodles today, and there was no mung bean shaved ice either. I feel so bad. It's so infuriating. I waited in line for so long, and there were only 4 people left before my turn, but it was gone. I can't stand it anymore. I'm addicted to beef noodles. Is there anyone who can sell it to me? After hearing these customers' complaints, the man finally reacted. The boss of the fried beef noodles is sold out. Looking in the direction of the stall, Su Yang was beginning to clean up slowly. The little boy Nuonuo handed the cup of mung bean smoothie that he had just secretly hidden to the female college student who came to help. Sister, please have a drink. This green bean smoothie is delicious. Yue didn't expect that Nuonuo actually hid a cup for her. There were so many people just now, but there were only a little over 100 cups of mung bean smoothie, which was totally not enough. Although she herself really wanted to try it, Yue glanced at Nuonuo, then secretly glanced at Su Yang, who smiled and nodded. Yue then took it from Nuonuo's hand, and then she seemed to suddenly remember something. She came to her stall beside her, fumbled around for a while, and said to Nuonuo, "Here, this is for you." Nuonuo looked up and saw an exquisite purple sachet. "It smells very comfortable. I made this myself, and I don't know if you like it." After hearing Yue's words, No immediately took the sachet, then said happily, showing her snow-white teeth, "I like it. Nuonuo likes it very much. Thank you, sister." Chapter 44, I should have known not to put on makeup when going out. Boss, you must come on time tomorrow. That's right. Rain or shine. We'll wait for you. Waiting for your fried beef noodles and green bean shaved ice. It has to be early, please, boss. I haven't eaten for 2 days. Su Yang finished packing and was about to leave on his electric tricycle. Those customers who were reluctant to leave kept shouting to Su Yang. In response, Su Yang just smiled helplessly and nodded. On the contrary, Su Inua was very excited and spoke in a baby voice. "I know. I'll call Daddy earlier tomorrow. Don't worry." Nuonuo was beside Su Yang, holding the guardrail next to him with his left hand and raising his right hand high, waving it towards the customers behind him. When everyone saw Nuonuo's look, they couldn't help but smile again. This little girl is so interesting. As Su Yang's electric tricycle gradually disappeared from everyone's sight, the night market life nearby slowly returned to normal. Even 3 or 4 customers gathered in front of the Fried Noodle King stall. Yue looked at the remaining handmade lemon tea, which was almost sold out. Because Su Yang and his team didn't prepare much mung bean shaved ice today, it was sold out quickly. Seeing this, the people queuing behind chose to buy Yue's lemon tea, which also made her a lot of money. Right now, there are still 5 or 6 cups to go, so I might as well close the stall early and go home to treat my roommates to some drinks. Just as Yue was cleaning up, a refreshing fragrance came from far away. It was a very familiar smell. Yue looked up. She is tall and has black hair that falls behind her shoulders like black silk. The snow-white lotus skirt and delicate facial features make her look like the snow lotus blooming in the Tianshan Mountains. The slender arms exposed and the dazzling white skin reveal an invisible charm. The campus beauty of Jiangning University, Lin Xian, she is like the brightest star in the night sky. Wherever she goes, everyone's eyes will involuntarily focus on her. Facing the looks of the people around her, she did not feel the slightest bit uncomfortable. This was a very normal thing for her. "Excuse me, where are the father and daughter who set up a stall here to sell beef noodles?" Lin Xian's voice was also very pleasant. With a smile on her face, she spoke to Yue, who was preparing to close the stall. She remembered correctly that Su Yang in the photo was setting up a stall here. But why did the person disappear? Did he go somewhere else? It's obviously still early now. Only 8 o'clock. They just finished their sale and left. Yue glanced at Lin Xian. Even though she was also a girl, she couldn't help but praise her in her heart. Lin Xian is so beautiful, and her dress is so pretty, like a princess. They're simply people from different worlds from me. Hearing Yue's answer, Lin Xian frowned slightly and did not hide the regretful expression on her face at all. Damn it, I was just a little late, and he already closed the stall? If I had known, I shouldn't have gone back to put on makeup and change clothes after going out. Lin Xian clenched her fists unconsciously and looked in the direction where Su Yang left, looking very unwilling. If she hadn't suddenly wanted to put on makeup after going out today, she would definitely have made it in time. Lin Xian sighed. Without the delicious fried beef noodles, nothing would be fun to eat. For a young lady like her, there are many different cooks at home, all from all over the country. From childhood to adulthood, running on the ground, flying in the sky, swimming in the sea. What haven't you eaten? It was after I came to university that my family paid less attention to me, so I suddenly became interested in roadside stalls. But she usually eats very little of them, because most of these things are just heavily seasoned. At first, I thought it was interesting, but after eating too much, it became just average. It even tastes a bit bad. But Su Yang's fried beef noodles are completely different. Let's not talk about how Su Yang's rice noodles are cooked. The beef in it alone tastes better than any other beef she has ever eaten. You know, the beef Su Yang bought was definitely from the vegetable market. But the beef that Lin Xian's family eats is all fed with special feed. But he's not even a bit comparable to Su Yang. What's more, there is the fried rice noodles that is perfect without any flaws, and you can enjoy it with just one bite. The combination of the two is simply the ultimate taste bud enjoyment. As a leader in the catering industry, although Lin Xian's cooking skills are not very good, she still has a say when it comes to eating. However, after finally rushing overexcitedly, I found out that Su Yang had already closed the stall. It's so infuriating. Well, you should come back to set up the stall early tomorrow. Yu Yue saw Lin Xian's disappointment, thought about it, and spoke. Really, really? As if she saw hope, there was light in Lin Xian's eyes instantly. Thinking of the taste of Su Yang's fried beef noodles yesterday, I even drooled a little. Even though we have to wait another day, it's better than nothing, right? Seeing Yu Yue nodded, Lin Xian became even happier. Thank you. She raised her foot to leave, but seemed to remember something. She saw the lemon tea in front of Yu Yue's stall and said with a smile, Junior, I want all your lemon teas. All. Yu Yue obviously didn't understand. Yeah, otherwise how can I explain to my roommates when I get home? I can just treat them to your lemon tea. They all like it very much. Good. Yu Yue didn't say anything, but just took out a bag and packed up the remaining cups of handmade lemon tea. Lin Xian also readily took out her mobile phone to scan the code. Seeing the back of the Jiangning University beauty leaving, Yu Yue was a little bit unbelieving. Everyone says she is the eldest daughter of the Lin group in the catering industry, but she is so down-to-earth. Do you like to drink lemon tea made by yourself? This is too outrageous. As Lin Xian left, Yu Yue packed up the stall and headed back to school. However, inside the stall she had tidied up, there was a bag hidden inside, which was a lunchbox. What was in the lunchbox was nothing else but a bowl of beef noodles that Su Yang cooked specially for Yu Yue. Just now, Yu Yue was even a little hesitant about whether to give her box to Senior Lin Xian. But before he could make up his mind, Lin Xian had already left. On the way back to school, Yu Yue felt that her steps were much lighter. Although she was still carrying things for the stall in her hands, they didn't seem as heavy as usual. Especially, she will be able to taste what Su Yang's fried beef noodles taste like later. And Yu Yue hasn't drunk the cup of mung bean smoothie yet. When Yu Yue left the night market in the university town, everything became the same as usual again. Chapter 45. Is Nuonuo asleep? In the evening, 9:30, Su Yang rode an electric tricycle and took Nuonuo back home. After giving the little guy a bath and blowing his hair clean, it was almost 10 o'clock. Nuonuo yawned loudly and spoke sleepily. Dad, can you tell me a story? Su Yang naturally would not let Nuonuo down. He picked up the fairy tale book on the table and turned to the part that he had not finished last time. As Su Yang's gentle voice slowly spread out, like a soft spring breeze, in less than 10 minutes, the little guy had fallen asleep. Looking at the little girl's gently fluttering eyelashes, there was a sweet smile on her cute face. His little hand unconsciously clenched into a fist, tightly pressed against his cheek, as if looking for a sense of security. At this moment, the whole room was shrouded in a peaceful atmosphere. Su Yang looked at him quietly, with a gentle satisfaction in his heart. Su Yang tiptoed out, turned off the light, and closed the door. Just like yesterday, he came to the yard and started to clean the tricycle thoroughly. Generally speaking, this kind of tricycle used as a dining car does not need to be cleaned inside and out every day. Most stall owners only clean the visible surfaces. But Soo-young is different. Not only does he eat the things he makes, but his daughter and her father also eat them every day. He can't accept anything that's a little too dirty. Directly take out the strong cleaning agent exchanged from the kitchen god system. As Soo-young used it, the places that were originally slightly dirty became clean in an instant. It's exactly like new. I have to say, Soo-young originally thought this thing was useless. But now I realize that this bottle of strong cleaner from Kitchen God is simply a magic weapon. Any stain can basically be removed instantly. He dares to guarantee that if such a cleaning agent appears on the market, it will definitely sell like hotcakes. It's not even any worse than the fried beef noodles we sell. Unfortunately, Soo-young only has this one bottle. How about finding a company to analyze the composition at that time? Even if it was given by the god of cooking system, it must have some scientific basis. It's impossible that the materials in this bottle of detergent were created out of thin air. Soo-young cleaned the baskets containing the ingredients and the insulated containers of mung bean smoothie one by one. Especially the thermal box, because of the mung bean shaved ice, there are green stains inside, which looks a bit troublesome. But after using a strong detergent, it can be cleaned with just a light wipe. Otherwise, if you change to other cleaning agents, it will definitely not have this effect. Soo-young would even consider buying a new foam box. After cleaning all these things, Soo-young put them all in a ventilated place. It won't rain tonight, and in a few hours, it will be completely dry. After finishing all these, Soo-young showed a gratified smile, clapped his hands, and looked like he had accomplished something. In the past, Soo-young didn't really like eating at roadside stalls. That thing is so dirty. Even when he was eating that kind of street fried chicken because the weather was too hot, the boss didn't preserve the fried chicken well, so it all went bad. Because it is fried and then a lot of seasonings are added, most people can't tell the difference. But your stomach will give you the answer. That day, Soo-young was vomiting and having diarrhea, and the dormitory bathroom was occupied by him alone. Almost never stopped. It is precisely because of that experience in college that he is very resistant to these things. The news often reports that street vendors are unhygienic. There are even rumors that it can cause cancer or something. In Soo-young's opinion, there are of course clean street stalls. Most of those that do not comply with the regulations are because the stall owners are too lazy and do not pay attention to hygiene. Another point is that people are greedy for cheapness and use inferior raw materials, or they're reluctant to throw away products that are obviously spoiled. This situation, especially the frying part, is a disaster area. There are even some unscrupulous vendors who actually add chemicals to the ingredients in order to make them look shiny and fresh. It can be said that these people will do anything to make money. I have thought of everything and tried every possible method, but there is one thing I won't do, which is to find a way to improve the taste of the food. In their opinion, the taste of food seems to be completely unimportant, as long as it is eatable. Soo-young totally disagrees with this. Even if it is a roadside stall, we should have a heart to provide good service. Show your most perfect dish and bring happiness to the diners in line. Wouldn't you be happy too? Although generally people who eat at roadside stalls are not tasteful or rich. But it is precisely because of this that a delicious meal can bring comfort to these students who have been working for a day or attending classes for a whole day. Isn't this the true meaning of gourmet food? Isn't it that humans invented delicious food to make more people who eat it happy? This is Soo-young's truest thought. But he would not express these thoughts out loud or explain them to other people at the roadside stall as if they were some profound truth. Everyone has different ideas. Maybe in the eyes of more people, setting up a street stall is just a means of making a living. I don't have any talent for cooking. I just couldn't find anything to do. Soo-young wiped his face with a towel and looked at himself in the mirror. Setting up the stall these days not only did not make him depressed, but made him even stronger. The only difference was that the afternoon sun was so strong that it made his skin a little darker. But for Soo-young, it was not a big problem at all. After all, the darker a man is, the more popular he is with girls. In some schools, there are even VIP study partner treatments. By the time Soo-young finished a shower, it was already past 10 o'clock in the evening. The sound of cicadas chirping could be heard from the big tree in the yard. If you are careful, you can even hear the faint chirping of crickets. Soo-young likes his current environment very much, although the house he lives in is not as good as his previous one. But this kind of life makes him feel more at ease. Soo-young was not born into a wealthy family and had to rely on the other family's money. To be honest, he had been feeling a little uncomfortable these years. It's just his love for his ex-wife and the little one Nono. So over the years, Soo-young didn't say anything, just thinking that everything would turn out well. But in reality, maybe things won't turn out well. Life is full of ups and downs. Soo-young has already reached the bottom now. But fortunately, no matter what he does, it can be considered a recovery. Just as Soo-young was about to close his eyes and go to sleep, a message came. It's my ex-wife Chiao Feifei. Soo-young, is nuo asleep. Chapter 46. Chiao Feifei was shocked. Isn't this the daughter of the Lin group? The little one has fallen asleep. Soo-young thought about it and decided to send the message. After all, no matter what, Chiao Feifei is Nuonuo's mother. Soon, the phone vibrated again, and Chiao Feifei sent another new message. Where do you live now? I told you earlier that the house can be left to you. Seeing the message sent by the other party, Soo-young just replied with 2 words. Need not. A villa in Magic City. A house with luxurious and exquisite decoration. It's just a bedroom, but it's already bigger than Soo-young's yard. It is conceivable that in a place like Shanghai, where every inch of land is valuable, a villa like this must be worth a lot of money. Chiao Feifei was wearing a sexy purple silk nightgown. She had just finished taking a bath and was covered in light crystal water droplets. Her curvy figure was clearly revealed under her nightgown. I have to say that even though she has given birth to a child, her figure is almost the same as when she was young. The only difference is that there is an indescribable kind of fatigue in Chiao Feifei's eyes. Obviously, managing the family hotel business recently made her a little exhausted. At this moment, the huge house always seems extremely deserted. In the dead of night, there is no sound at all. Whenever this happened, she couldn't help but think of it. No matter how late she came home, Soo-young would always heat up the food for her. The little guy Nono will go to sleep only after kissing himself. It's a pity that the originally lively and harmonious family finally came to this point. Chiao Feifei shook her head and threw away all the memories of the past in her mind. She had made her choice, and there was no turning back. The path you choose will never be wrong. She will prove it. When Chiao Feifei saw Soo-young's reply, she smiled helplessly. This guy is still as stubborn as before. She knew Soo-young too well, so she was not angry at all. Instead, she continued to operate on the phone with her slender white fingers. Soo-young, I have kept this job for you. After thinking for a while, Chiao Feifei sent the message. After the two divorced, Chiao Feifei has been busy with the family hotel business. She didn't know about Soo-young's recent situation, but when he divorced, Soo-young didn't have a stable job. As for the money he saved from working in previous years, he also used it to buy a car for himself. Although Chiao Feifei rarely drives that car now, she already has a better and more expensive means of transportation. Naturally, that BMW 3 Series was left in storage and gathered a lot of dust. Don't worry, I will take good care of the little one. Her learning and growth will not be affected. On the other end of the phone, Soo-young sent another message. To be honest, Chiao Feifei still didn't quite believe Soo-young's news. It's not that I don't believe that he is a good father and can't take good care of Soo-inua. And the prices in Shanghai are simply too high, especially for the kindergarten that little Soo-inua is attending now. The tuition fees every year are ridiculously expensive. Soo-young didn't know before, but in fact, many times her mother would secretly transfer money to her. This is also the reason why Chiao Feifei finally chose to end the marriage. Life is always more realistic than she thinks. She just chose a path that she thought was right. To be honest, Chiao Feifei didn't know why she suddenly wanted to send a message to Soo-young tonight. Perhaps it was because of the recent fatigue that made her feel tired from the bottom of her heart. It even made her wonder whether her choice was right. Chiao Feifei looked at the phone screen in front of her. Soo-young didn't send any more messages. Chiao Feifei herself didn't know what to post. After hesitating for a long time, she finally edited a message. Well, tomorrow is Saturday, the little girl should rest. Her grandparents just came back and want to see her. After this message was sent, Chiao Feifei's face became extremely nervous. To be honest, she wasn't too sure about this matter. She knew Soo-young too well. He was very stubborn. Once something is decided, no one can change it. So Chiao Feifei had no idea whether he would allow Nua to come and play tomorrow. Chiao Feifei stared at the time on her mobile phone and felt that it was so long. Finally, the phone vibrated and Soo-young replied. I'll wait until Nua wakes up and tell her. Thanks. Chiao Feifei breathed a sigh of relief and finally felt relieved. As long as Soo-young gives in, the problem with Nua will be easy to solve. She prepared a lot of gifts for the little one, including food, drinks, daily necessities, clothes, and toys, almost everything. Xiao Feifei bought everything she could think of, but Xiao Feifei looked towards a corner of the room. There were piles of stuffed toys there. This was bought by Xiao Feifei for Nuonyuo in the past. But when the father and daughter left, Nuonyuo only took the toy that Su Yang gave her. As for the things he bought, Nuonyuo kept them all. This father and daughter are really cut from the same cloth. Xiao Feifei didn't know what to say. She closed the text message interface and opened her Douyin account, where she followed a lot of accounts related to food, restaurants, and hotels. This has become her daily habit before going to bed. After all, she is now working in the hotel industry and knows some hotels and other places, as well as some delicious food that is popular among young people today, which is not a wrong thing. Just as she was casually scrolling through these videos, waiting for sleepiness to set in, a short food video caught her eye. It was a post about a roadside delicacy, but Xiao Feifei didn't care about it and was ready to eat it. After all, no matter what, she was managing a 5-star hotel, which was a world of difference from this street stall. But Su Feifei suddenly heard a familiar voice in the video. "This is the fried beef noodles my dad made. It's the most delicious in the world. Isn't this the voice of the little guy No-No?" Only then did Xiao Feifei open her eyes seriously and look at the short video on her mobile phone. The top-notch food in the university town that you can't miss. Even the campus belle cried after eating it. Such a title made Xiao Feifei frown slightly. Today's short video titles, like those of previous news media, are all exaggerated and eye-catching. With a helpless sigh, Xiao Feifei continued reading. In the short video, we didn't see the little guy Su Inua, but only a girl with an extraordinary temperament and incomparable beauty. At this moment, she had a very happy expression on her face and was holding a bowl of packaged fried beef noodles. It's hard to imagine that someone like her would show such an expression for a bowl of fried beef noodles. Xiao Feifei was even more shocked when she saw the video. Strange, isn't this the daughter of the Lin group? Chapter 47: Prepare to make crystal cake. Lin Xiyin, the campus beauty of Jiangning University, is so pretty. I didn't expect that Lin Xiyin also likes to eat that fried beef noodles. I ate it yesterday, and it was so delicious that I can't describe it. Is it the handsome guy's stall at the alley opposite the university town? I saw a lot of people queuing up tonight, but I didn't dare to go. You didn't get to eat it? That's a pity. Believe me, you must queue up tomorrow, otherwise you will regret it. They also have a new product, mung bean smoothie, which is also delicious. It's a pity that there are only a little over 100 cups today. After drinking the green bean smoothie from that store, I can't drink any milk tea anymore. I feel the same way. The same goes for the fried beef noodles. After eating their fried beef noodles, I can't eat a single bite of other people's fried beef noodles. Xiao Feifei looked through the comments under the short video and found that everyone had a very high opinion of this stall selling fried beef noodles. However, the short video did not capture the owner of the stall selling fried beef noodles. This made Xiao Feifei curious and confused, so she repeatedly played the short video of less than 10 seconds back to the beginning. You can indeed hear some childish voices in the background. "This is the fried beef noodles my dad made. It's the most delicious in the world." Why does this voice sound so similar to that of the little guy, Su Ina? There were also people in the comment section saying that the guy selling fried beef noodles was a handsome guy. Su Yang. He's indeed very handsome. Could it be that the person selling beef noodles at the stall opposite the university town is Su Yang? He actually took his daughter out to set up a stall? Xiao Feifei found it a little hard to accept. No matter what, Su Yang can't do a job like setting up a street stall, especially with my daughter along. This is too embarrassing. If others knew, Su Inua would be his, Xiao Feifei, the granddaughter of the Qiao family. That would make you be laughed at by countless people. The Qiao family owns several 5-star chain restaurants in Shanghai, and the food they prepare is so delicious that diners cannot fault it. As a result, her husband and daughter actually went out to set up a street stall. Xiao Feifei felt her head buzzing, and her face instantly turned ugly. This Su Yang just lied to me, saying that he would take good care of the little guy. Is this how you take care of me? No. She had to find time to go there and take a look. Is it Su Yang? Especially, I don't know whether it was intentional or unintentional. Xiao Feifei's eyes kept moving back and forth across Lin Xiyin's pretty face in the short video. I even compared myself in my mind with my younger self in college. She snorted coldly. It's about the same as when I was in college. But the taste of the daughter of the Lin group is really low. You actually like to eat at street stalls. The next day, Soo-young got up before 4:30. After washing up, he took another look at the sleeping little guy. Seeing that Nua Nua was sleeping soundly, he walked into the yard. He took out the key, started the electric tricycle, and headed straight to the nearby vegetable market. Last night, after sending messages to Xiao Feifei, Soo-young did not choose to go to bed immediately. He used up all the system points he earned from setting up the stall at night before going to bed. With 734 points, he can draw 7 times. Unfortunately, this time, Soo-young did not draw the recipe from the Chef God system. The rewards are all some random stuff. There are even some God-level driving skills that can be obtained. Congratulations, host. You won the Godly Chef System Lottery. God-level driving skills. Going fast in a curve is really going fast who can't accelerate in a straight line. What's amazing is that this so-called God-level driving skill actually works on Soo-young's electric tricycle. As soon as he started the electric tricycle early in the morning, the ease with which he could remember instantly came into play. In just a moment, I felt as if I had been riding an electric tricycle for 50 or 60 years. Soo-young was also a little confused. Could it be that the so-called God of Cars car was really a 3-wheeled motorcycle? This is too outrageous. What's even more outrageous is that every time Soo-young rode his electric tricycle past a corner, he couldn't help but feel like drifting. Fortunately, he forced himself to hold it back. Now he finally understood the meaning of the system's sentence. Going fast in a curve is the real fast, who can't accelerate in a straight line. It's a pity that Soo-young has no interest in racing, and there is no Akina Mountain here. As for other rewards, they are all similar. In addition to some small daily necessities, there are also some things that can increase Soo-young's experience. For example, you can quickly distinguish the freshest vegetables at a glance. It's useful, and it is indeed useful. It's useless, but it can't be said to be completely useless. Soo-young didn't care too much about this. After all, it was easy to earn system points. It's a random draw, as long as it's not a pig farm's chance. Even if it's from 10 cent, there should at least be a guarantee, right? The next recipe will come when it's supposed to. Before he knew it, Soo-young had already arrived at the vegetable market on his tricycle. He also bought some bean sprouts, pork, cabbage, beef. These were the ingredients for making secret sauce pork buns and fried beef noodles. As for the rice noodles and fried beef noodles, and the mung beans and mung bean smoothie, because Soo-young is now considered a big customer of these two stores, the daily order volume is very astonishing. So they all have door-to-door service. Soo-young was naturally very welcome to this. After all, although his electric tricycle could barely fit all these things, it was really too heavy to carry them. If the other party sends it directly to the yard, it will save you a lot of trouble. Soo-young went shopping in the market again and bought some old rock sugar for cooking mung bean paste, as well as some ingredients for making a new product, crystal cake. Because of his experience with making recipes from the previous 3 times, Soo-young bought large quantities. He was not worried that the crystal cake he made would taste bad. The production process of this new dish is the same as that of the dry-fried beef noodles and the secret sauce pork buns. Every detail is deeply imprinted in my mind. Boss, this rice of yours is pretty good. Is it from Lingyu? Soo-young came to a shop specializing in selling rice and recognized it at a glance. The rice placed at the door is the best Lingyu Japonica rice. This is also due to the ability Soo-young obtained through the Kitchen God system. In addition to being able to find the freshest fruits and vegetables at the moment, you can also tell the quality of the rice at a glance. The Lingyu Japonica rice currently packed in woven bags is definitely the best ingredient for making crystal cakes. The owner of the store was also slightly surprised when he heard Soo-young's words. You know, the Japonica rice from Lin Valley had just arrived, and he hadn't even had time to put a label on it. But Soo-young actually saw it out at a glance, without even touching it. As the boss of a business that specializes in selling rice, he certainly knows that some people who do business regularly are quite sensitive about things like ingredients. But when it comes to rice, you should at least touch it with your hands, right? The Japonica rice from Lingyu is indeed rounder and more crystal clear than rice from other places, and it feels relatively flatter to the touch. Therefore, it has been selling well in the store. Give me 15 kilograms of Lingyu Japonica rice, Soo-young said, pointing to the bag of rice in front of him. Chapter 48. Don't look at me like this now. I was as handsome as you when I was young. Do you have sticky rice? Yes, authentic Xinjiang glutinous rice. That's right, then give me 60 kilograms. No problem. Soo-young directly took out his mobile phone to scan the code to pay. He has made a lot of money from setting up a stall these days. Naturally, I don't feel any regret when buying ingredients. After all, In his eyes, these things he bought would soon become top-notch delicacies. It will be returned 10 times more. Young man, you look very young, but you have good vision. The rice shop owner praised Su Yang with a smile as he packed rice for her. In response, Su Yang just smiled faintly. To make the most authentic and delicious crystal cake, you naturally cannot be careless in the selection of ingredients. Even a skilled cook cannot cook without rice. What's more, Su Yang has always been a very serious person who pays attention to details. When it comes to making crystal cake, we have to mention japonica rice and glutinous rice. Only crystal cakes made from these two kinds of rice can be authentic. If you use other rice, it will be similar, but the taste will be very different. For this kind of traditional Chinese pastry, every detail and every ingredient must be taken seriously. Even the production process must be done entirely by hand. This is very different from Western cooking. As a Western practice, they pay more attention to the control and accuracy of data. Therefore, many cooking aids are designed to better achieve the same taste. Even the amount of ingredients will be weighed first. In Su Yang's opinion, this method has its merits. But for traditional Chinese food, it has no advantages. First, let me just say one thing. As for crystal cake, if modern machines are used to crush the rice flour and flour, then the taste will be greatly compromised. Therefore, in the God Chef system, the most important part about all methods of making crystal cakes is that they need to be made entirely by hand. This is something that modern industrial machines are completely unable to achieve, just like the blue and white porcelain of Jingdezhen. No matter how advanced modern technology is, it will never reach the craftsmanship of ancient craftsmen. Su Yang then rode his electric tricycle around and bought other ingredients needed to make crystal cakes. Millstone, used for manually grinding rice. The steamer was already there, but Su Yang still bought some molds, honey, and other things. Of course, Su Yang has the usual honey and peanut oil at home. But in order to make the best crystal cake, Su Yang bought osmanthus honey, and even the peanut oil was freshly squeezed locally. In this way, more than half an hour passed before Su Yang finally bought all the ingredients he needed for today. Not more, not less. The total cost was about 800 yuan. Loaded with goods, Su Yang started his return journey on his electric tricycle. He had just returned to the yard and found that Uncle Zhang had been waiting for him here for a long time. Oh, isn't this Xiao Su? What a coincidence. I just happened to run into you when I went out for a stroll this morning. We are truly destined to be together. Su Yang looked at Uncle Zhang in front of him and forced a smile on his wrinkled face. He really didn't know. Just now, I saw him stretching his neck and looking into the yard from a distance. You said you just happened to be out for a stroll and happened to come here? Who would believe it if I told them? However, Su Yang did not expose him. After all, Uncle Zhang helped him a lot here. What a coincidence. Is Mr. Zhang too early? Uncle Zhang was smiling and waving the palm leaf fan in his hand. Not yet. Aren't we waiting for you, Xiao Zhang, to set up the stall? Why? Are you setting up a stall in front of the elementary school today? Su Yang shook his head. Today is Saturday, and the primary school students are on holiday. I want to try another place. Oh, that's right. I was so confused that I forgot today is Saturday. Uncle Zhang had an expression as if he had suddenly realized something, which made Su Yang a little confused about what he was trying to do. Is he here for his granddaughter again? How could I, Su, be interested in someone else's granddaughter? Women will only slow down my cooking speed. Is that so? Then, Xiao Su, when you open your stall, let me know and I'll bring our neighbors to support you. Ever since we ate the fried beef noodles you made last time, no one can eat anything else. Hearing Uncle Zhang's praise, Su Yang smiled and nodded. Okay, Uncle Zhang, I'll save one for you. After Su Yang finished speaking, he prepared to ride his bike to the yard. There was still some time before he could set up the stall, so he needed to carefully prepare all the ingredients he had bought. Seeing this, Uncle Zhang did not consider himself an outsider at all and followed Su Yang into the yard. He looked left and right and saw that Su Yang had placed more than 20 pots of green plants in the originally empty yard, and the whole yard was kept clean and tidy. It's hard to imagine that Su Yang has been setting up a stall every day these days. I have to go out to buy ingredients before dawn, and I can't come back until 9 p.m. to close the stall. I also have to find time to take care of my daughter who is in kindergarten. Even so, Su Yang still has time to tidy up the yard. Boss Zhang couldn't hide the satisfaction in his eyes. The more he looked at Su Yang, the more he liked him. Xiao Su, I heard you got divorced? Su Yang's busy hands paused for a moment, and he finally recovered. Sure enough, Uncle Zhang still has the same purpose. Su Yang felt helpless. Why did he have to marry his granddaughter to him? Well, I just got divorced less than a week ago. Oh, I see. Why? It's nothing, just pursuing something different. Uncle Zhang nodded with an understanding expression. Don't blame me for being so long-winded. When I was young, there were many girls chasing after me. And one of them was… Bang! Before Uncle Zhang could finish his words, Su Yang's hand lost its balance, and the plate fell to the ground. Fortunately, it did not break. Su Yang slowly picked it up and glanced at Uncle Zhang beside him. There are not many wrinkles on the face, but there are definitely quite a few. Although he is full of energy, one can still vaguely tell from his face shape that there must have been quite a gap between him and Su Yang when he was young. That's it. You said you have a lot of girls chasing after you. Uncle Zhang, we are old now. Can we be a little honest? Seeing Su Yang's disbelieving look, Uncle Zhang spoke without caring at all. Don't disbelieve me, Xiao Su. When I was young, I looked almost the same as you. Su Yang was silent for a moment, then gritted his teeth and nodded. Uncle Zhang looked disapproving and continued talking to himself. At that time, I'm handsome and have a good skill. So many young girls are chasing me. Some rich girl from some wealthy family came and said she wanted to marry me. But I'm not interested. I'm just like you. I have things on my mind that I can't let go of. Xiao Su, are you listening carefully? With that expression on your face. Do you think I'm lying to you? Chapter 49. Foreigner? What does he know about delicious food? Half an hour later, Uncle Zhang left with a satisfied look on his face. Su Yang had no interest in Uncle Zhang's past stories and was just immersed in the ingredients he was preparing for his stall. The rice noodles need to be soaked and drained. Fresh vegetables and meat also need to be cut and placed in advance. Fermentation of flour. Cooking of mung bean paste. During this time, Su Yang also has to use his time to prepare the crystal cake. First, take out the purchased japonica rice and glutinous rice and wash them with clean water. Then use the small millstone you brought back to grind both types of rice and flour little by little. After all this is done, you need to mix japonica rice and glutinous rice in a ratio of 3:7. After this step is done, add boiled water, white sugar, and other auxiliary ingredients gradually. Then keep stirring until the glutinous rice and japonica rice have all become a sticky dough. After finishing it, Su Yang didn't stop. He took out the sticky dough and placed it on the chopping board. Then continue to pat regularly with both palms. Naturally, there is a special set of techniques for this kind of patting technique. It is a unique skill. Fortunately, Su Yang's God Chef system also has them all. The dough was patted with great ease, without any flaws at all. This professional technique is generally called patting the face by chefs who make crystal cakes. This step also seems simple, but in fact it is often where we can see whether the chef has real skills. What matters is the precise technique of patting the surface, so that the crystal cake is not only transparent, but also does not produce any bubbles. On the contrary, if the technique is not up to par, the crystal cake will be difficult to swallow. When the dough was almost beaten, Su Yang began to pour a certain proportion of peanut oil into it. The peanut oil had already been cooked, and Su Yang didn't need to stir it at all. It had automatically blended into the dough. Su Yang breathed a sigh of relief, which meant that there was indeed no mistake in the way he had just slapped the face. Seeing the perfect blend of the dough and the cooked peanut oil, Su Yang smiled faintly. Doing this step, well, is almost half the battle. The next step is to take out the clean crystal cake square mold. Pour the dough on the chopping board into the mold one by one, and then you can start steaming the cake directly. Of course, there are also quite important details in the process of steaming cakes. That is the charcoal used for ignition. It must be fruit charcoal. This was also what Su Yang bought early in the morning. If other charcoal was used, it would also affect the final taste of the crystal cake. Equally important is the control of the heat when steaming the cake. However, this is not a difficult task for Su Yang. After all, what he had in his mind at this moment was almost equivalent to decades of experience in steaming crystal cakes. You could tell at a glance how big the fire to use and how long to steam it for. There won't be any mistakes at all. After all these are done, in half an hour, the crystal cake will be steamed. Su Yang opened the lid of the steamer, and white mist blew in his face, followed by pieces of crystal clear cake. It appeared in front of Su Yang like a work of art. Such a perfect crystal cake. To be honest, not to mention eating it, just looking at it is a pleasure. The steamer Su Yang uses is neither too big nor too small, and can probably steam 70 to 80 kilograms of crystal cake at a time. As these steamed crystal cakes are placed on the bamboo board, just smelling the wonderful flavor is already extremely satisfying. It smells so good. No wonder the ancients always said that it has good color, fragrance, and taste. This traditional Chinese cuisine does indeed have this requirement. Looking at the neatly arranged crystal cakes in front of me, I felt satisfied before I even started eating. It was so pleasing to the eye. Then, Suyang took out osmanthus honey and marigold. Sprinkle them on the surface of the crystal cake as the final seasoning. And then this traditional and authentic delicacy is truly complete. After it cooled down, Suyang picked up a piece and took a bite. It tastes not only cool and soft, but also fragrant and sweet. After chewing it completely and swallowing it, it exudes a unique flavor with a mellow aftertaste. This wonderful delicacy has such a unique taste. It was the first time for Suyang to eat this kind of thing. After feeling the distinct layers of taste, he finally understood what it meant to have an endless aftertaste. Such desserts are more delicious than any Western restaurant he and Xiao Feifei went to when they were dating. What Michelin? It's nothing like this crystal cake. According to Suyang, what do foreigners know about food? The 5,000 years of culinary heritage of Dragon Country is not something they can challenge. It's a pity that many traditional skills have been lost, and many chefs nowadays don't pay attention to details at all. Chinese cuisine is all about taking your time and doing fine work. Any detail that is not taken care of will affect the final presentation of the food. It can be said that the upper and lower limits of Chinese cuisine are very different. Even a simple dish of shredded potatoes with vinegar will taste very different when made by different chefs. If you dislike Western food, as long as you follow the scale standards of instruments and tools, there will hardly be any big difference in taste. Simply put, Chinese style tests the cooking skills themselves, while Western style pays more attention to the ingredients themselves. Suyang showed a satisfied expression. This crystal cake was exactly the same as the one presented by the system in his mind. He restored it almost perfectly. After packing all the finished crystal cakes in transparent plastic boxes, Suyang had already thought about the approximate price in his mind. 25 yuan a box is still a bit expensive in Manhwa, but the materials used by Suyang are genuine and he doesn't actually make much profit. However, since this is the first time I set up a stall to sell this crystal cake, in order to avoid making the same mistake as before, Suyang still wrote the words in advance. New crystal cake. Each person is limited to 2 boxes. After everything was ready, Suyang began to prepare the secret sauce pork buns and the mung bean shaved ice. By the time I finished all this, another 2 hours had passed. I wiped the sweat from my forehead and looked at the time. It was already 8:15. Because the nearby primary school is closed today, Suyang doesn't have to go too early. He walked into the house and went to see the little guy Su Inua first. Seeing that she hadn't gotten up yet, her chubby little hands were tightly grasping the quilt, as if she was determined to live and die with the quilt. Suyang showed a fatherly smile. No, it's time to get up. Don't you have an appointment? You have to meet your grandparents today. Wow, Dad, wait, let me finish eating the cake in my dream first. It smells so good and is such a sweet big cake. Chapter 50. Sorry, my pastries are limited in purchase. Dad, please come pick me up in advance. Okay, got it. We. After getting Su Yang's promise, the little guy got up happily. By the time she finished brushing her teeth and washing her face, Suyang had already prepared breakfast for her. Eggs, braised pork buns, and a glass of fresh milk. Nuanua's eyes lit up as he ate. In a short while, he finished it all. After resting for about 10 minutes, Suyang took Nuanua out of the intersection. These 3 boxes of food. When the time comes, 1 box will be for you, and the other 2 boxes will be for Grandpa and Grandma. Understand? Suyang took out 3 boxes of crystal cakes and asked the little guy to carry them. After seeing Nuanua carrying 3 boxes of crystal cakes, Suyang thought about it and put another box in. Bring 1 for your mother, too. Nuanua rolled his big eyes and then said with some curiosity, Dad, what's in this?